Your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. St. John's Country Day is going to the Final Four in high school baseball after a 10-5 victory last night over North Florida Christian from Tallahassee. The Spartans will play on Thursday in the 2A Final Four. And four more Jacksonville area high school baseball teams have a shot at the Final Four tonight with first pitch at 7 o'clock. In the 3A bracket, Trinity Catholic from Ocala comes to Providence tonight over on Hodges Boulevard. And 4A, Bishop Kenny is at Baker County. And Clay will host Lake City, Columbia with a shot to go to the 5A Final Four. All first pitches tonight at 7 o'clock. It's right now 86 degrees at 3:03. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller. The Frangie Show is coming up right now.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I had a hot day and it's a long way back to my home. Turn the radio on, I'm hearing my friend Lizzie pretend that the voice counts, but nothing amounts to anything until I hear it from you.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby. The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in. Glad you're along for the ride on a Tuesday installment of the program brought to you by our friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlyon, Lauren Brooks, and Andrew Gibson with you as we embark on this Tuesday installment of the program where we're talking some football. Matt Hayes letting it fly.
Wow.
So Matt, if you have not heard,
He should be the commissioner of college football.
Matt Hayes has reported I reported Florida to the Big Ten as early as this fall.
Yeah.
And if you heard that or not.
Homecoming for Graham Mertz.
Exactly. Like he doesn't know the league.
Yeah.
Now it all makes sense.
Now, Napier was playing chess, not checkers,
So
obviously.
that's exactly right. So Florida to the Big Ten should happen. According to Matt, the announcement could come within the hour.
It's imminent.
So there's that.
How do you feel about being replaced as commissioner of college football?
Well,
that was a swift kick to the.
I demand results.
You know what?
Frankly,
You know what?
and they've been a little slow around
here.
here.
You know what? What I want to do is I want to. It is election day. I want to commend my opponent for winning. What do they do? They concede.
They concede.
Yeah.
They concede.
You'll need
Officially
to call Matt in the break.
It's on election day. I'm
offer
going to make a concession speech to Matt Hayes.
Yes.
And wish him well. And can I get free tickets to that Florida Northwestern showdown? Okay, since you're now the commissioner, can I get that? Because I want to get to Evanston in time this fall. So
Northwestern would probably be favored by 3.
Right, exactly right.
Sorry to tell you.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, we'll have some fun. But great theater and great talk on the primetime show today. We'll talk a little bit about that. I want to talk more about the stadium. Got some thoughts similar to what we talked about. Give you Shohei Ohtani any good or no? Is he good?
Well,
is he a good player? Is he a good baseball? Is he good at baseball?
He's pretty solid at baseball. We were talking about him yesterday, and I said there's got to be a team that's at least made a phone call to try to trade for him. If you're the Angels, I mean, the guy is just insane. He was a double shy of the cycle last night, and he pitched. Yeah. Now, he didn't pitch very well last night. He normally does. But, I mean, my God, the guy almost hit for the cycle last night. That home run he hit, Frank, you don't see balls go to that deep in the yard in Camden. That was insane.
He almost hit for the cycle in a major league game while pitching in a major league game. Digest, and to really put that in perspective, that is like, let me put this in perspective. You completed 23 out of 28 for 384 yards and 4 touchdowns, and you picked off 2 passes.
Correct.
Digest that one for a second. because that's what's going on. So
can Jack Caglione do that? I mean, after watching him in person and seeing him hit 100, basically, I mean, he hit 99 almost every time he wanted to at the fastball. Can he do that? I know it's another step.
Well, Ohtani is a freak of nature as a pitcher, and a hitter, but is a freak of nature as a pitcher too. My guess is Jack Caglione he's got a little Pete Alonso in him. He will be a major league home run hitter. That'd be my guess. And will he ever be given the chance to do both? He's had Tommy John already, by the way. He as Shohei has. He had Tommy John, was it last year? 2 years ago. Because he came on at the end, right? He came on at the end of last year. So I think Jack Caglione, but it's a good question because he's the guy you would ask it about. He's not just the Florida people, but he's the guy in college baseball you would ask it about. Jack Caglione, I think, will be a regular 30-plus home run guy in the big leagues, and I don't know if he'll be a pitcher. I don't know if he will. Somebody made the point. Did you make it, Lauren, or Hayes? One of y'all maybe even Gibby. One of y'all made the point about a home run hitter in the majors who's also a closer. Didn't one of y'all? I know we talked about that on the show. One of y'all brought it up. The fact that someone could be a home run hitter and a closer. That to me.
Oh, Gibby brought it up because he closed in the World Baseball Classic.
That's right.
Yeah, Ohtani did that in the World.
Yeah. Now that I could see.
Because he's throwing 100, in short spurts.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
out of the bullpen.
He's going to go down as the greatest player of this generation, and I think if he continues to do this, he's 28. If he does this until he's 33, I mean, I think he's got to be considered one of the best to ever do it. How do you give the MVP to anybody else?
Right, and because
so he's going to have 4 or 5 MVPs.
Right, because he's doing something that nobody else is doing. Nobody else is doing this. I can't. I gave you the football analogy. Basketball, there is no analogy because everybody plays offense and defense. They
kind of play defense.
Yeah, well, right, but there's no analogy in any other sport other than football. The baseball guys, but it's simply amazing.
He real quick last night he didn't have his best start. I think he gave up 5 or 6 runs, but still, even after last night, opponent batting average against Ohtani is still 145. Opponent batting average against him. Batters are hitting 145 against him.
It's pretty amazing.
Isn't he still on the year 5-1 with a 3.23 ERA?
Yeah,
I mean, those are still really also, strong numbers.
He's an all-star pitcher, even if he didn't bat. He's on his way to being an all-star.
Yeah, I think he leads with 71 strikeouts. Anyway, I mean, he's having.
He's second. Strider's first with 79.
Is he first in the AL? Maybe that's what I'm looking at.
Yes.
But he's got a bunch of strikeouts.
Yeah. So I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. Again, to me, we were talking about. I've asked a lot. Will they trade him? I don't know if you're the Angels, how you don't just send him a blank check and say fill in your number, and we'll work around the rest.
Right.
And if we have to field 20 other guys on the team that are making the minimum, we'll do it. But we're not going to give up the greatest attraction that baseball has seen in 25 years, if not 100.
The last time this happened, Mr. Frangie, or whatever his name is, wasn't he the owner of the Red Sox at the time? Sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees.
Right.
And that's the last time this happened. The last time this happened, Harry Frangie sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. That's
and they didn't win a World Series, the Red Sox, until 2004.
That's right. So hopefully this will. I hope the Angels thinks. You're right. The Angels should find a way to sign him no matter what. All right, a lot of things to talk about today. I want to start with the stadium because I got a thought about the stadium. We've talked a great deal about the stadium. That comes up today. I will talk about the Matt Hayes nonsense. Matt's really my buddy, you know that. But the whole conversation they had was a really intriguing one about more conference expansion. What would happen if the Big Ten expanded the whole bit? NBA's got 4 stars going now. There's 4. I mean, there's a lot of good players, but every team has a clear mega star. Who's the best one? How would you rank them? Not in their careers.
Right, just right now.
Right now. How would you rank the 4 right now? What are they best at? What are they not best at? We're certainly going to do that today on the program. I got a thought about the American League East, Gibby.
Okay.
If you compare the AL East to everybody else in baseball, that comes up a little bit later on in the program, but I want to get to that. So we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
How do they stack up against the Oakland A's?
If you look at the AL East and what they've done to everybody they play, doesn't matter who they play.
Yeah, that's right.
What they've done to every other, and there's one rule that has really benefited them more than any. So we'll certainly talk about that coming up on the program today. So I got a lot of fun stuff to do. Glad you're with us. It's a Tuesday installment of the program. Our Tuesdays are always brought to you by our friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett, Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. A Nimnick Tuesday commences after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Hi, I'm Chris Berman from ESPN. When I'm back in Jacksonville, back, 1010XL, it's a shirt size, 92.5 FM.
Hey, sports fans, Hayes Carline here from MyBookie. If you like going to the casino, then you're going to love the revamped online casino at MyBookie. They have a live casino option where you play blackjack with a real person, a live dealer, just like you're sitting at a blackjack table in Vegas. Roulette, too, same thing. It's awesome. The live casino, it puts you on a table with a live person spinning the roulette wheel just like at the casino. If you haven't checked out the new live casino option yet, go to mybookie.ag now and see what I'm talking about. I've been playing all last week, killing it on roulette. If you like to play Pai Gow, poker, or Ultimate Texas Hold'em here locally, now you can play from the comfort of your own home. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience. Of course, you're going to get a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. That's promo code 1010XL to secure yourself a sweet deposit bonus. Sign up today at MyBookie. Check out the live casino tab for blackjack and roulette. Play anytime, anywhere with the MyBookie Casino.
Sportsmen, shooting enthusiasts, and public safety professionals. For over 50 years, we have been your number one stop best prices on apparel, holsters, flashlights, and more. Look no further than GT Distributors. Celebrate GT Day's sales event with the best prices on everything you need to gear up. This is going to be bigger than ever, and it's happening only at GT Distributors, Friday and Saturday, May 19th and 20th. 2 days only, and you'll save 20% off select brands. That's 20% off top brands like Gerber, Safariland, and Magpul. Come meet factory reps, hourly door prices, and a firearm giveaway on both days. Don't miss this huge store-wide event. GT Days, May 19th and 20th at GT Distributors, 2285 Kingsley Avenue, Suite A2 in Orange Park. Showroom hours are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, visit gtdist.com. Restrictions apply. Sale excludes guns, ammo, optics, Surefire, Wellen.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reich Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
You will love your new custom windows and doors from Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, special financing is available. You'll enjoy the beauty and quality that only Renewal by Anderson offers. This offer expires May 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? It's Hayes Carline with QC Kinetics. They are in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where is your joint pain? In your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. And best of all, you walk into the office and you walk right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime. and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like to you? Whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today with a call to QC Kinetics for a complimentary consultation. Call them at 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522 with locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to the program along with Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, and Andrew Gibson. I'm Frank Frangie. Hey, let me tell you about a big thing going on Friday. We're going to be live at Big Chief Tire, the grand opening in their Orange Park location, 238 Blanding Boulevard. You ready for this? They're not giving away a set of tires. They're not giving away 2 sets of tires. 3 sets of tires. A set of Michelin, which is a $1,200 value, a set of Cooper tires, $1,000 value, and a set of Nexen tires that are a $900 value. Come by. They're going to be cooking burgers and hot dogs, compliments of the folks at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Come by and have a big-time Big Chief Tire, the tire store that we talk about all the time. It's our tire store. And by the way, get 5% off future service when you stop by. Come on and say hello to all the folks at Big Chief Tire in Orange Park. We look forward to going there. We will be there on our Friday show this week, so that's going to be an awful lot of fun. Well, we'll be on the road tomorrow. We'll be at Island Wing in Bartram, out at JU on over there in that River House on Thursdays. They get set to play UNF. What a big rumble, boy. Gibby, this is about a big baseball series between these two as we've had in a long time.
It's huge.
Because, look, the bottom line is when it's over, one could be in. I almost get the sense that one's in and one's not.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
that's
a way they could both get in, right?
But this is a magnitude of a series that, I mean, it's basically the season for these two teams. So I was going back and forth texting with Chris Hayes from JU because I'm doing the game with Manzi Thursday and Friday, and we're going to talk Thursday morning about just exactly what we're talking about now, the magnitude of this series, which is huge.
Really big game, really big series between UNF and JU, and it comes up this weekend. All right. I'm going to start with the stadium. We'll get to the college football stuff, which is kind of fun in a bit. NBA 4-star Shohei Ohtani, the AL East. I got a bunch of stuff planned for today's program. But let me start with the stadium. We kind of said this last week, and I thought all about it. And here's where I am on it. It's kind of where we were last week, I think, Hayes. But I thought through it. There's an election today, and 2 good candidates. Obviously, Daniel Davis and Donna Deegan, one of those two are going to be the next mayor for 4 years, which means one of those 2 mayoral candidates is going to oversee this gigantic story, certainly the biggest sports story around here in a long time, and really one of the biggest Jacksonville stories. And one of the 2 candidates you'll know tonight which one it is, will oversee this story. Whoever gets the nod, here's what I think. Both candidates have come out and said they hope the team plays its games in Jacksonville. Both candidates, Daniel Davis and Donna Deegan, have both come out and been quoted as saying that they hope during the renovation, they hope the games are played in Jacksonville. And I think part of that is what you have to say to your constituents. You have to tell your constituents a little bit what they want to hear. Not that either one are being disingenuous, and I'm not implying that, but both candidates have made that comment. I respect and like both candidates. I think one of them is going to wind up being a good mayor, whoever wins. Having said that, that is not the right play. The play is Gainesville.
Yes.
The play's not London. Even though you could add a game to London, I wouldn't, because that's one more game that Jacksonville fans can't get to. I would not go to Orlando. I think there's traffic. I think there's artificial turf. And there's too much talk then about is the team moving, even though it's not, even though you would have a 50-year, 20-year, 30-year contract before you ever did that. There'd still be too much chatter about it. There'd be chatter about how the team should be there by people in Orlando. So I wouldn't go, if it was me, I wouldn't go to Orlando. I wouldn't break it up. I wouldn't go 6 in Gainesville and 2 in Orlando. I wouldn't go 6 in Gainesville and 2 in London. I wouldn't go 4 in Gainesville and 2 in Orlando and 2 in London. I'd keep playing the one game in London that you need to play for financial purposes. I'm not saying that. But I would play the remaining home games in Gainesville. It is the closest to playing it here. I don't think, as much as it would be great for UNF or the baseball grounds, I don't think you can accurately turn a 10 or 12,000 seat stadium into one that comfortably seats 40 or 50. I don't think you can do it. I think you should give your chance, because this team is going to be so good in the next coming years. I think you should give your Jacksonville fans a chance to buy 50, 60,000 tickets. Gainesville's an hour and a half away. Based on where you live, it might be an hour away. This team, I think Florida wants it, and I can't say this enough. It's not because Frank's the Gator guy. It's not. I would be saying the same thing if Tallahassee was this close. God is my witness. I would be saying the same thing. The truth of the matter is, this thing, they should, I hope, after the election and after we have a 19-person council and a new mayor, I hope this is one of the first things that gets discussed. I hope we see renderings of the new place. I hope the deal is such that both parties can agree. And I hope we hear an announcement that whatever 2 years, those 2 years will be in Gainesville, and that's how we're doing it. I even wish, I know Mark Lamping said nothing will start until the 26th season because Florida-Georgia has 2 years remaining on its contract. My hope and my recommendation would be that we bring in Josh Brooks and Scott Strickland, and we show them what this new stadium is going to be like, and then we agree to a 10-year extension with Florida and Georgia based on the numbers they will make, at least an 8-year, and we tear up the current contract, and we get right to work. So that's my hope, is A, that we decide to play those games in Gainesville for 2 years. I don't think it's realistic to turn 10,000-seat stadiums at the baseball grounds or UNF into 70. And hey, I'm reiterating what we said last week, so that part we've talked about. It's close. It's easy to get to. It is for hospitality reasons, club seats, suites, media. You'd have very few. It's NFL ready. It's easy to get to, as I said, and I would like to see extend Florida, Georgia for the next 10 years or however long those contracts are, and then tear up the one that says we can't start for 3 years. If we need a brand new stadium, why not find a way for the Jaguars to be playing in that brand new stadium earlier than rather than it be, if it doesn't start till 26 and it's not ready till 28, rather than what would then be years 8, 9, or whatever of the Trevor Lawrence era, why not make them 6 and 7 of the Trevor Lawrence era, wherever the numbers fall? That's what I hope they do. So to reiterate, I think the game should be played in Gainesville, even though that goes against what both mayoral candidates have said, and I respect what they said. But I think the game should be played in Gainesville. I think that makes the most sense. If it was 3 hours, I wouldn't say so. But we've seen the math. The Carolina Panthers played at Clemson. The Chicago Bears played in Champaign. There's a lot of teams that, while they played at the nearby college stadium, where we've been fixated lately on the Chargers playing in the soccer stadium in Santa Monica. So that's where our head is. But before that, most went to their nearby college stadium because that's the most NFL-like stadium. It's already built. It's ready. And I think listen, there's a lot of Jaguar fans in Clay County, Orange Park, West Side, an awful lot in St. Johns County. They could get there pretty easily. If you're on the south side of Jacksonville, you can get there pretty easily. It's not hard to get a little further from the beaches, a little further from the north side. I get that. But the truth is, we're probably talking about 15 games. Okay? You play 9 home games one year. Well, one goes to London, so that's 8. You play 8 home games the next year. The one's in London, so that's 7. So you're probably talking about 15 football games.
At the most.
At the most. You're talking about 15 football games. Okay? That's what and playoff games, obviously, and it's a playoff team. But you're talking about 15 games here to sacrifice for a stadium that's going to be all world for the next 20 years. That's what you should do. And again, Hayes, I know that was your point, both of our points last week, but that's how. But I'm even extending or expounding on that point in hopes that we can tear up the current Florida-Georgia contract and get working even earlier on that. And by the way, if we do get that extension, Kirby Smart, who's dying to get that game at home, we can get it at home next year or whatever your Georgia's home game the next time.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the timeline. If that's when it lays out, I think that's fine. And it may be difficult to bump it up. But my biggest problem is with the inefficiency of trying to have an on and then off again construction project because you're adding such a major cost, probably hundreds of millions of dollars, and it it just doesn't make sense. I mean, why wouldn't you save the taxpayers that money and just deal with the Jaguars playing in Gainesville for 2 years? If I was the Jaguars, I'd try and play more in London, particularly if it's going to help me cultivate favor with this stadium plan of, hey, we'll play as the road team over there. How many times do you need us to play as the road team in those 2 years? We're happy to do it. You want us to host more than one game? You want us to host a game at Tottenham too? We can do that because we're seeing the appetite from the other 31 clubs to go over there is waning and waning fast. So, yeah, if I was the Jaguars, I would try and do the league a favor and play a little bit more over in London, not so much for financial gain, but for support and getting this deal done. And so I don't even know that it would end up being all 15 in Gainesville. It might end up being 13 because you might want to play 2 home games over there in the 2 years. That would make a lot of sense to me. But Gainesville's where they need to go. It's ready. Yes, the Swamp is at some point going to be renovated, but it's not. The Jaguar timeline is much more accelerated from the University of Florida Stadium timeline, so they're not going to intersect at all. And it just makes the most sense. You practice here, you get on a bus, you go to Gainesville, you play your games. However many Jaguar fans want to go, it can hold. Obviously, you don't have to worry about telling fans, nope, sorry, we're at capacity at our temporary venue, you can't go. Whoever wants to go can go if they're willing to pay because it's a stadium that holds 90-something thousand. So to me, it makes all the sense in the world from a cost standpoint. And again, we know that that's going to be what carries the day on this deal, is trying to make it as cost feasible, if there is such a thing when you're talking about building a stadium, but you want to save as much money as you can. The best way to save that money is to do the stadium in 2 years and not deal with the escalating costs of making it a 4-year stop-and-start plan.
I would also recommend that the Jaguars provide buses that leave from the current stadium or other places around town and shuttle people down to Gainesville and shuttle people back. I mean, I understand people saying, I want to watch this team when this team is good. It has been a long time since this team was going to be consistently good. I want to watch that. Okay, here is your option to watch it. It's just going to be a little bit farther of a drive.
I agree with that, which is why I don't agree with Hayes. I would not want to see a second home game in London, because I do think the team's really good, and I want to see Jacksonville fans have as many opportunities to see this good team as they can. The truth is, it's harder in London. You may have the money to go fly over there, but you may not, and you probably can't do it twice. But you can get to Gainesville. And I like your idea, mass transit. I would imagine if they do that there will be some sort of a mass transit plan, just like there is now. You can park in the lots, right, and the bus takes you in. So it's probably not a whole lot different. Instead of parking at the beach and some bus takes you to the stadium, you could park at the beach and some buses will take you to Gainesville. I would think there would be some of that. So I think that. But again, I don't want to see Orlando. I think I don't want to see. Why would you take on 8 more games on artificial turf if you don't have to? And I just think all the team to Orlando stuff, even though you knew the contract was already signed, I've heard enough of that guff. I've heard enough of the Orlando guff or the teams moving stuff. And the team's not ever moving. I believe that all my heart, but I don't need to hear all the talk about it. I'm good. I've heard enough of that over the years. You know what I mean? I've heard enough of that over the years. I'm good. So Gainesville, no one's going to ever worry about the team moving to Gainesville. So I would rather play the games there so you don't have to listen to that. But I hope that decision gets done quickly. And you're probably right from a practical standpoint, Hayes, because Mark Lamping spoke to this. It's probably not until 26 because you're probably not going to tear up that current Florida-Georgia contract. But if you did, Florida and Georgia would get 2 years in the new stadium sooner. So you'd get there. You'd get to that new stadium sooner. And so again, that's probably not practical. That's probably sports guy talking. But I would like to see them find a way to do that, and let's get right to work. Let's get right to work. And again, it's not that easy. You're ordering supplies, and there's bids, and you gotta. I know that. It's not like say tomorrow. Here come we're knocking down steel tomorrow. I get it. So we gotta. Oh, by the way, got a season.
Florida, I don't know about Georgia, but TIAA Bank, as it stands now, is nicer than the Swamp as far as amenities are concerned for fans.
Yeah, it is. They both need updated, but you're right. But I agree with that. So anyway, so hopefully that's what I think they should do. And again, I understand today's election day, and the 2 mayoral candidates have both spoken publicly about keeping the game here. It's just not realistic. It's just not. That doesn't mean you can't do it. That doesn't mean they won't do it, but it's just not realistic. If it's $100 million, $100 million to get those two facilities ready to play 2 years there, you're renting it. You're spending $100 million in rent that you don't have to spend. So it just doesn't. To me, that doesn't make sense. And just like Chicago found out with Illinois, like Clemson found, or the Carolina Panthers found out with Clemson. I'm missing a couple others that have done it too, that have played it.
Everyone has to do it. People are acting like this is exclusive to the Jaguars, that the Jaguars are the only franchise ever that's had to wait on a stadium to be built. It's lunacy. Yes, every team has to do it at some point, and this team will be no different, and it will be fine. The 2 years will go by in a blink of an eye, and they'll be back here in a brand new stadium at a efficient cost.
And I think you have the benefit of having a very big – the way Florida is configured, North Florida is configured, you have the benefit of having a very big stadium really close. That's the benefit. It's not 3 hours. It's not 2.5 hours. That's the luck of the draw here. You could have turned out and not had one close by. The Dolphins didn't have one. The Dolphins had to play while they renovated because they would have had to fly somewhere. There's not a college. The pro team and the college team play in the same stadium, so there was no option 60, 70 miles away. We have a way better option than they have. So most. I mean, I got thinking about this. Didn't the Saints play at LSU?
Yes.
When the Katrina happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's why. They had this beautiful stadium an hour away.
They also played in San Antonio, which is even farther.
Yeah, but that would be the equivalent of doing the Orlando thing. I wouldn't do that. Unless Baton Rouge wasn't available.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the scheduling with Florida, if you're going to play them all in the swamp, there'll be a little bit of gamesmanship in terms of trying to figure it out.
Florida's still playing. I agree with you.
Yeah, now it's not a huge puzzle to work through, but it is something where there could be a game or two where the weekend wouldn't be available. But hopefully the league, again, it helps because now it's an 18-week season.
Correct.
So, I mean, just to give you an idea, Florida's last home game against Florida State this season is week 12 of the NFL season.
Of an 18-week season.
Of an 18-week season.
Right.
So the league would probably backload a lot of the home games.
That's right.
So that they could be played in Gainesville. It wouldn't be that hard of a puzzle, but that's probably why the Saints had to go over to San Antonio would be my guess.
So, but you have the advantage. If it happened to the Falcons, they've got an advantage. They've got Georgia's an hour away, and it's a beautiful 90,000-seat stadium.
Play at Georgia Tech.
Well, or you could play at Georgia Tech, right? Well, that's true too. But I mean, you also have the big stadium too. But I'm trying to think of, would most teams have this? Dallas could go to Austin or Norman, right? I mean, I think
I'll give you another team that actually did this. The Vikings. The Vikings played at University of Minnesota.
That's exactly right, and that's in town. That was the easiest of all because it was right there. It was actually in the city. So anyway, the point is that if the Vikings did it at the university, which they did, if the Saints went to LSU, which they did, if the Panthers went to Clemson, which they did, if the Bears went to Champaign, to University of Illinois, which they did, to Hayes' point, it's not unusual. If 4 or 5 times it's happened, it's no longer unique.
Guess what happens when Seattle builds a new stadium? Right. They're probably going to play at the University of Washington.
Correct. And so, and again, where it's not in the same city, it just about is. And that's the bottom line. Is it's pretty damn close to being in the same city. So that's the announcement you should have. Again, I hope if it's Orlando, fine, I'm okay with it. But I think Gainesville is the way to make this thing work, the easiest. And I hope it's done. And I hope we see an announcement soon, rather than investigating UN. And by the way, I applaud the Jaguars for kicking the tires on UNF in the baseball grounds. That's what they should do. If their constituents want you to really consider staying in town, then do what your constituency asks you to do and take a peek. But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's possible. It's just not practical.
Right. If either of those stadiums had been interested in expanding to 40,000 people for the long term, then it would all make sense. But neither of those places need
Again, the reason that came up is because the Chargers did it most recently. The Chargers did that more recently than the Vikings or the Saints or the Panthers or the Bears. So that's what's on our mind because it just happened. The reality is it really just isn't practical. And I love my friends at UNF, and I love my friends with the Jumbo Shrimp, but it really isn't practical. I hope that's what happens. Take a break. Let's talk some college football after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
From Duval to the world.
All communication lines are clear.
Download the 1010XL apps for free on Apple and Android devices and listen wherever life takes you.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling. Frank Frangie here. For 4 generations, our team has been dedicated to honest, quality auto service. Whether your vehicle needs tires, custom wheels, brake repairs, or regular maintenance, our experts will treat you like family. With our all-new Orange Park location, it's now easier than ever to get the care your vehicle needs from familiar faces at an affordable price. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
Bueller. Look, folks, I've been hearing it my whole life, but the truth is there's never been a better time to stay cooler with Bueller. Right now, we can send a qualified Bueller technician to perform a thorough tune-up and cleaning of your AC system for just $119. We'll even include up to 1 pound of refrigerant to balance your system for peak cooling performance this summer. Now that's staying cooler with Bueller.
Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Tobacco-Free Florida has many free ways to help you quit nicotine. From free 2-week starter kits of quit aids to free cessation services like Phone Quit and Group Quit. We're even trying out new motivational tactics.
You're the greatest quitter. He's tobacco's greatest quitter. He's tobacco's greatest quitter of all.
Or maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
The big names, the best shots. Coverage of the PGA Championship on 1010XL is presented by MyBookie and Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
There it is! Can you believe it?
Follow the leaders on 1010XL.
My name is David Lane. I'm just your average everyday Joe. I've had multiple procedures done at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, including both of my shoulders, a knee replacement, and an upcoming back surgery. I'd highly recommend the doctors and the staff over at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. If they can get this old dog back in the game, they surely can do the same for you.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. It's golf majors time again. The PGA Championship is back this week, and again, we have the PGA Heroes versus the Live Villains. So get your golf bets in now at MyBookie. If you haven't signed up, you need to sign up. This is going to be must-see TV, and you can bet long odds for big cash. The real fun is just with the live betting. You can live bet golf every day, Thursday through Sunday. I'm telling you, if you haven't signed up yet for MyBookie, do it now for the PGA. Take advantage of crazy boosted odds. You play, you get started. It's simple. You sign up today at MyBookie. Use promo code 1010XL to secure a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200 and play with $300 instantly. Just use promo code 1010XL to claim your bonus. Betting with MyBookie. Bet the PGA Championship. Anytime, anywhere with MyBookie, and use that promo code 1010XL.
AgPro's Load Up on Savings event is here. Right now, get a John Deere Z320R with 42-inch deck for $37.99. Visit agproco.com for more info. Offer ends 5/31/23. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I think they wouldn't hesitate to go get a Florida State, a Miami, a North Carolina, etc., if they have that opportunity, because, again, it's not only the Big Ten that will benefit from this, it's Fox. So Fox can plant a flag in the state of Florida. Do you think the SEC or ESPN wants that to happen? Absolutely not.
The comments of Brett McMurphy discussing the college expansion, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, ACC, Pac-12, obviously the Power 5 conferences as of now. Could that be changing right before our eyes? We will discuss that in just a moment. But right now, it's your chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Brit Floyd, obviously a tribute band of Pink Floyd, at the Florida Theater. That would be next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Caller number 2 at 641-1010. Caller number 2 at 641-1010 wins that pair of tickets to go see Brit Floyd. What do you think of Brett McMurphy's comments?
First of all, is Rick Blue eligible to win? Because he'll be all over that.
I have a feeling he probably already has tickets.
He's probably already got tickets.
Yeah.
In the first row, Blue does.
Absolutely.
We had some fun with Matt and Joe and Mia doing the handoff. Brett thinks that the Big Ten would like to infiltrate Florida, the state of, and Fox wants that. I think what these television networks want are teams that play teams that do ratings. So I do think FSU and Clemson move the needle because more people likely watch their games. It's not necessarily just penetrating the state anymore or penetrating the region. They want teams that move the needle on television. So I get that. I have always heard, though, that the two teams that the Big Ten covets are North Carolina and Georgia Tech, prominently Georgia Tech. But North Carolina gives them the Charlotte market, which is a good market. Georgia Tech gives them the Atlanta market, which is a great market. Both would give them the Southeast, which they don't have. And both would give them very good academic schools, all AAU schools, Academy of American Universities. I've always heard that if the Big Ten had its way, it would go get those two teams. I am so convinced that is, in my opinion, I am so convinced that is correct, that one of the things that sent them to the West to get USC and UCLA, part of it's the Fox deal, because that's Fox, but also they could not infiltrate the ACC teams because of the grant of rights. I think if the grant of rights did not exist, Hayes, that Georgia Tech and possibly North Carolina would be in the Big Ten right now. I believe that in all my heart because the people and Matt Hayes is way more connected than I am. But I believe in all my heart that the Big Ten really wanted Georgia Tech, and I think wanted North Carolina too. So first things first, before we get to the other part of it, I think if there was no grant of rights, Georgia Tech and North Carolina would be in the Big Ten right now.
I think there's a very good chance of that. But the problem is now that the Big Ten has added USC and UCLA, their next move has to be continuing to build their footprint on the West Coast.
In large part because the grant of rights still is there.
Right. So, I mean, you're probably looking at Washington and Oregon probably being the next two to join the Big Ten would make probably the most sense. And, so I think that the whole thing to me is silly because even if you can get out of this thing, which is apparently legally ironclad, even if that could happen, then you've then got to find leagues that want you that would be much better than the league you're in now. I don't know. I don't think unless the Big Ten wants to have, to me, the only way it makes sense is if the Big Ten or the SEC is just going to simply break apart and do their own thing and have their own championship. And if you're going to emulate the NFL model, you don't need to get to 32, but you need to have more than 16. So at that point, you probably are adding at least 4 to 8 more teams. But until that, and that is a revolutionary concept for these conferences to just basically say, we're completely breaking away from the NCAA. We're going to negotiate our own TV deals. We're going to govern ourselves. That's a massive step. I just think that when you look at it, these ACC teams are trying to get out of something that's going to be awfully difficult to get out from under until 2036, and I'm not sure they have a place to go because the Big Ten is going. If they add, they're going to look to placate USC and UCLA. And I don't know why the SEC would add. I mean, to me, none of the teams that you could add, other than like getting the North Carolina footprint of North Carolina and Duke, nothing else I think greatly helps you enough to break up your pie piece again for a 17th and 18th share.
Yeah, what's fascinating to me is that at this point in time, Notre Dame has still not joined a conference because we have discussed how much money is involved in those payouts, and yet they seem to exist independently for now. But I agree with you, Frank. I think it would be Notre Dame would be their top choice, and then Georgia Tech, North Carolina would be in there. But yeah, it seems like there is no way for these schools, unless they pony up $120 million a piece, to get out of the ACC.
And to Matt Hayes' point, we kid Matt about it, but even if that happened, Matt's point was Florida would fight vigorously to keep FSU out of the SEC. And if the SEC didn't acquiesce to that request and actually did get them, Florida would say, screw you, we're going to the Big Ten. Well, the truth is, no, they wouldn't. I do think Florida will fight to keep FSU out and probably will win that battle. The battle that Texas A&M did not win when it tried vigorously to keep Texas out because it is not a charter member. It's a new member. Florida's a charter member. So I think Florida would have way more traction in keeping FSU out of the league than Texas A&M did keeping Texas out of the league. But if it lost and it looked like it was going to lose, I don't doubt for a minute it would threat seceding from the league. I don't think for a minute they would probably come up with all kind of threats. But at the end of the day, the University of Florida, even if FSU was shoehorned into their league, would not leave and go to the Big Ten, in my opinion. There's too much history of trips that your big donor fans, Florida fans, like a lot of college fans, love to travel. They love that trip to Knoxville and Baton Rouge and wherever, and Auburn or whoever you're playing. They love to go to Nashville and listen to that country music and watch Florida beat Vanderbilt when they beat the Vanderbilt. There's too much history of Florida and Georgia and Florida Tennessee and Florida LSU. There's no way Florida would walk away from all of that because they're mad that the SEC took on FSU. They might threaten it. It might be on their mind. And to Matt's point, it's a moot point anyway because the SEC would not do that to Florida, a charter member.
Just like they're not going to do it, I don't think, to South Carolina with Clemson. And
Correct.
South Carolina doesn't have the clout Florida has.
And they're more of a new team, too, but I agree with that. So I don't think they're going to do it. But and in fairness to Matt, he never implied they were going to do it. All Matt said is if they did do it, Florida would leave. And my point is, under no circumstance, even if it happened, even if we're all wrong and we looked up and FSU and Clemson have landed in the SEC, even if that happened, Florida would not leave for another conference.
Here's the thing. Florida fans don't even like Big Ten football. Right. So that's why it's a non-starter, because no one in the fan base wants to see Northwestern or travel to Iowa or play. Right. I mean, it's just not anything that a Florida fan is going to want. I bet you if you polled Gators fans and asked them, would you want to leave the SEC for the Big Ten? I'd have to think it's 90% would be stay in the SEC.
And that number's low.
Which in this day and age, to get 90% of people to agree on anything tells you how farcical the idea is. So no, here's what it's not going to matter because Florida State will never be in the SEC, and it's not because of Florida. I just don't think that the members are going to look at it and say, yeah, this is the question you have to ask. Will we be richer by adding this school.
Correct.
And they won't be. So why would you do it?
And you're right. If by adding Texas and Oklahoma,
you're richer.
They're banking on the fact that by adding those two schools and the television ratings those two schools will garner, that the pie will be so much bigger than 1/16 of the pie. 1/16 of that pie will equate to more money than 1/14 of the other pie.
Correct.
That's the bet.
Because of the negotiations with the TV network.
Yeah. Because Texas and Oklahoma get a lot of eyes on their TVs. So to that end, the ACC's best chance of getting into the SEC is not North Carolina, Duke, and Georgia Tech. Big Ten's a different paradigm. At least in today's current configuration, the two ACC if there was no grant of rights, and if every ACC team wanted to get into the SEC, the two with the best chance now would be FSU and Clemson, because they have the most eyeballs watching them play football. But to your point, Hayes, and I tend to agree with it, do they have enough eyeballs that when you get to 18, 1/18 of that pie is bigger than 1/16 of this pie? And I think it would not be.
Well,
because in large part because you're not extending your geography. At least with Texas, Oklahoma. With Oklahoma, you are extending your geography. And even though you're already in Texas, Texas A&M ain't Texas.
Correct.
And so you really have extended while staying within the footprint, you've extended your geography within that footprint, and South Carolina and Florida would not be doing that.
The other question I think that you'd have to ask too, if you're an athletic director that has no tie to or no bias, if you're the athletic director at Auburn or Alabama or Kentucky, I would ask the question, if you're Missouri's athletic director, what will Florida State and Clemson be in this league anyway? If they're average, which is what they would be, how much eyeballs are you really getting on those games anyway? I mean, they've got great logos. No one would ever dispute that. But, I mean, let's just be honest. What do we think Florida State and Clemson would be if you dropped them in this SEC compared to what they are in their little pond?
Yeah, and in fairness to FSU and Clemson, Ohio State would be the same if you dropped them in the SEC.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look, I think Oklahoma and Texas are going to mightily struggle.
Right.
Yes. And so this isn't a specific, but I'm saying from an athletic director standpoint, you also have to ask, okay, if we're doing it because of eyeballs on games and ratings, how confident are we that Florida State and Clemson as SEC members are going to be regularly playing teams as top 10 teams in the nation? I would say that's going to be pretty rare.
Yeah. So having said all that, it'll be interesting to see the way this whole thing plays out. I will say this. Let's wrap with this. From a fan standpoint, would you want to see FSU Clemson in the league? Yes or no? And if it's no, is there anybody else you'd want to see in the league?
I think it'd be great from a fan standpoint to add them in. Yeah, I mean, look, if I don't ever have to watch Florida State play Wake Forest again, and NC State, and Syracuse and Louisville, yeah, that'd be great. I think those games are largely, not as exhilarating as a slate in which Florida State and Clemson would be playing LSU and Auburn and Georgia and Florida and Alabama and Oklahoma and Texas. So from a fan standpoint, I'd love to see it. But I just, again, this all goes back to, is this going to make the league more money? And I just don't think that adding Florida State and Clemson makes the SEC does it make them money? Yes, it makes them money. Does it make them enough money to break up your pie piece from 16ths to 18ths? No, it doesn't.
From a fan perspective, you always want to make sure that your rivalry continues. So if you're Florida State, if you're in the same conference, you know that the rivalry will continue. It may not be every single year, but if they end up with FSU leaving the conference, leaving the ACC, who knows if they'd end up playing.
We'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk some NBA. 4 great players are in the Final Four of the NBA. We'll discuss it after this.
In a world where life can be predictable,
I will give them something they've never seen before.
1010XL. Honda has done it again with their all-new exciting SUV and truck lineup for 2023. HRV, Pilot, Passport, Ridgeline trucks, and our popular CRV hybrid. This is without a doubt Honda's most impressive lineup. Visit your local Honda dealer today. We're dealing.
Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold and mildew or structural damage and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I said yes to Yas, Dr. Mitchell Yas, and the Yas method. Now I know, you've probably tried medications, treatments, injections, even surgery. Maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not addressing the root causes. Well, I know from personal experience, this does happen. But I found the best-kept secret in pain elimination, Dr. Yas and the Yas method. Call him today, 904-906-YASS, and say yes to Yas.
Daniel Tosh is back. Sweet Tea Tour.
It is great to be here in America. The greatest country in the world.
September 24th, Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts Moran Theater. On sale now. Buy tickets online at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss your chance to see Daniel Tosh.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, when a customer goes to buy a diamond, how do they know what they are getting?
Frank, that's a good question because what they know comes from the assurances given by the seller, and they can only judge based on the knowledge and reputation of the selling store. Now, over the last 25 years, I've seen some customers misled, and unfortunately, Underwoods was the bearer of bad news too many times. In the 1980s, we saw diamonds brought in with exaggerated grades and no laboratory grading reports. Then in the 90s, we saw some of the poorest cut diamonds ever, even though they had laboratory reports on weight, color, and clarity. Then the American Gem Society opened a laboratory and started grading diamonds for cut, and poorly cut diamonds got priced for what they were. Now we see diamonds from the internet and other places where diamonds are bought sight unseen with a lab report and a bogus appraisal. Unfortunately, not all those diamonds match the reports they're sold with, but how would a customer know? Probably today more than ever, the truest statement is, if you don't know diamonds, you better know a jeweler you can trust.
I want my Woody's barbecue.
Have you ever noticed that some words that were once nouns are now verbs? Like Google? Instead of going to Google, you just Google it. Well, I did that the other day with Woody's Barbecue. Instead of going to Woody's for barbecue, I told the wife that tonight we're going to Woody it. She looked at me kind of funny at first, and then she smiled and said, "Let's eat."
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
Hey, sports fans. Hey, it's Carline here from MyBookie. If you like going to the casino, then you're going to love the revamped online casino at MyBookie. They have a live casino option where you play blackjack with a real person, a live dealer, just like you're sitting at a blackjack table in Vegas. Roulette, too, same thing. It's awesome. The live casino, it puts you on a table with a live person spinning the roulette wheel, just like at the casino. If you haven't checked out the new live casino option yet, go to mybookie.ag now and see what I'm talking about. I've been playing all last week, killing it on roulette. If you like to play Pai Gow, poker, or Ultimate Texas Hold'em here locally, Now you can play from the comfort of your own home. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience. Of course, you're going to get a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. That's promo code 1010XL to secure yourself a sweet deposit bonus. Sign up today at MyBookie. Check out the live casino tab for blackjack and roulette. Play anytime, anywhere with the MyBookie Casino.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Woody's Barbecue. Tonight there are 4 Jacksonville area high school baseball teams that have a shot at the Final Four. 2 of them play each other. Bishop Kenny at Baker County tonight at 7 o'clock. BK coach Tommy Edwards on the game.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. The atmosphere is going to be quite something. We got to defend the field and got to throw strikes. I mean, it's no different than any other game. But I think, yeah, they're good. They're good. And of course, every team in the playoffs is good right now. And we'll have to be, pretty strong with what we're doing. And, again, adjust to the atmosphere and so forth. It's going to be a good ball game.
Bishop Kenny baseball head coach Tommy Edwards, their game tonight at Baker County. Trinity Catholic at Providence. Clay hosting Lake City, Columbia for a shot at the Final Four. It's 90 degrees at 4:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tatum fires away, pumps it in! 51 for Jason Tatum in Game 7.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show on this Nimnick Tuesday. All right, we've got Heat, Celtics, and Lakers, Nuggets. That means we have Jimmy Buckets v. Jason Tatum. You just heard a highlight of Tatum as we were coming back. You've got LeBron James and you've got Nikola Jokic. So who you got?
How you ranking them? You go first.
I would go
right now.
Joker 1. I would go Tatum 2, LeBron 3, and Jimmy Butler 4.
How about you?
I would go Jokic 1. I would go Jimmy Butler 2, Tatum 3, LeBron 4.
Okay, I would go Jokic 1, LeBron 2, Tatum 3, and Butler 4. Let me give you their numbers. The leading scorer is Tatum. Tatum averages 30 a game. 30. I'm talking about the regular year, not the playoffs. His numbers 30.1, 8.8 rebounds, 4.6. He's a great player. He's the leading scorer. The second leading scorer is LeBron. 28.9, 8.3 rebounds, 6.8 assists. Pretty amazing numbers. The third leading scorer is Jokic. 24.5, 11.8 rebounds, and 9.8 assists. Those are stupid numbers. I mean, he literally is an eyelash from averaging a triple-double.
And shoots like 64% from the field.
I can't imagine that anybody's ever averaged a triple-double, right? I mean,
Westbrook did not too long ago.
Oh, he averaged a triple-double?
Yeah,
okay,
for a season.
Okay, so, but I didn't realize that. And then Butler's the least scoring of the group, 22-9, 5-9, 5-3. By the way, there's no other than Jokic not being number one, there's no wrong answer in this because they're all great players. And they all carry their teams for the most part.
In the postseason, by the way, the points go Butler averaging 31.1, Jokic 30.7.
Okay.
Then the next one is Tatum 28.2, and then LeBron 23.4, just in the postseason.
Yeah, so in the postseason, Butler, Jokic, Tatum, and LeBron. For me, if I was going into the playoffs and I could have any right now, if I could have any of these guys, I'll go with the order I went with. If I could have any guys right now, Jokic number 1. Number 2, I'd take LeBron. I think he's the more complete. But boy, this is 4 great players. Butler's the hottest player in the group, and it makes you wonder if they can carry him. There's a side of me that thinks Miami's going to beat Boston. Do you think that?
No, unfortunately.
There's a side of me that thinks that Miami's going to beat Boston.
Could they? Yes, but I think Boston wins in 6.
I think there's a side of me that thinks the Heat might beat them.
I think it'll be a fun series, but I think the Celtics win.
And I think the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets.
I mean, Al Horford, everybody.
The Nuggets could win in 5. I just think the Lakers don't have enough. I think the Lakers don't have enough. I think AD's got to play Jokic, but I don't know that he can. But I will tell you, I will be locked in, I will be locked into every one of these games, and I'm so not an NBA guy that until the finals, and quite frankly the finals, because we have our Loser Monday stuff, I don't think I've ever taken a peek before the finals very much. Maybe a peek. What is different about this year? Now you're a little different because your stepson is a big Heat fan, which is why your wife's a big Heat fan, so you've kind of adopted them, which I get. But apart from that, there's still something different about this year.
It's been a fantastic draw. That's the biggest thing. The way the tournament laid out, I think, is we started seeing this last year because I remember we were talking in the league is in a really good place with a lot of young superstars, and so I think collectively we started to peak a little earlier last year than and I think it's carried over to this year. Again, I don't think I'll ever pay attention to the NBA in the regular season. I mean, it's just, to me, it's one of 82. It just doesn't have a lot of meaning. Half the time, it seems like one of the teams doesn't really care that they're there anyway. So I'll always be, at best, a playoff observer of the NBA. But I have found myself, and again, not just because my wife Jean's a Heat fan once they get into the playoffs. It's because I've I thought getting Warriors-Lakers in the round in which it was in was incredible. Getting the 76ers versus the Celtics, having the Heat knock off Milwaukee, an 8-1. I mean, it's been a really captivating and compelling tournament, and I think that'll continue now as we get into the conference finals. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if you're not remotely interested in this, I don't think you're probably ever going to be interested in the NBA, because I think it would be hard to have two better matchups going in, particularly for the roads that they've had to get here, and still be like, nah, not interested. And look, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to like what they want and not like what they want. But I would say if the NBA hasn't brought you back a little bit, then you probably will never have it, because I don't know what else they could do at this point.
When you used to watch the NBA more, weren't the coaches the superstars besides like a few of the NBA players?
In my lifetime, probably not, but it's a fair question, because you knew Pat Riley, and back in the day you knew Auerbach, and so there was Phil Jackson for sure. I still think, though, the NBA has always been the players' league, almost more than the other ones.
College basketball is like that.
Now, college basketball,
where the coach is the star.
Yeah,
but in the NBA, the superstars are the stars.
But you're not off the mark on your question, because now nobody knows the coaches. That's
at all.
Yeah,
especially with all the turnover.
And back in the day, you knew the coach. So I think that's your
until the playoffs, did anyone know that Darvin? Unless you're an NBA fan, did Darvin Ham is the Lakers coach?
No, that's why. No, so I think your question's on the
mark. Popovich was basically a celebrity.
There's no more of that.
No.
But even in the 80s, you would have Pat Riley,
right?
Chuck Daly.
Yeah, but to Lauren's point, everybody knew Chuck Daly. Nobody can tell. Not many people know the coach now, because it's not. So for whatever reason, whoever the coach was, you kind of knew him at the time. That didn't mean they were legendary. Chuck Daly didn't go on to be a legendary coach. He did coach the Dream Team, and he did coach. So your point on them, yes. Where you're trying to go with this is correct. The coach was far more prominent then than he is now. What's happened is, and it's not the worst thing in the world, instead of recycling Larry Brown 47 times, the NBA is now going to former players who become assistant coaches who really connect with players. That's what Darvin Ham, I barely remember him as a player. He played at Texas Tech, right? Mm-hmm. But I barely remember him as a player. But he played for a little while, became an assistant coach, and was identified very early, as was Monty Williams, who played at Notre Dame, who's identified very early after just an average NBA career, that the minute he became a coach, he became a guy that really connects with the players. And today's player needs someone with whom they connect. And that's why it's one of the reasons Steve Kerr is so good. Steve Kerr was an average player, but he was everybody's best teammate. You remember that. Mm-hmm. And people loved, he was a great teammate. And so those guys, the Mike D'Antonis, who weren't that guy, he just became a recycled coach over and over and over. I think with all these coaches getting fired, look, they all got fired this year. I think you're going to see more of the same, which is former players who became assistants, who were assistants that really connected with players, and they became head coaches.
It'll be interesting if Udonis Haslem tries to get into it because
perfect example.
He could be a head coach in 3 years.
That kind of guy. The kind of guy that now he played so long that it may not be quite the case, but yeah, that's the kind of guy that's who's getting these jobs.
Like we talked about last week, J.J. Redick was interviewed by the Toronto Raptors. So I don't know if he's been an assistant coach.
All right, let's. So who's going to the finals?
It'll be Nuggets and Celtics.
I concur.
I'm going to go Nuggets and Heat. Here.
Hope you're right.
I think it's going to be the Nuggets and Heat. I think Jason Tatum is so hot right now. I'm sorry. I think Jimmy Butler is so hot right now that even with Jason Tatum playing as well as he has, of course he did go for half 100. But Butler seems to make that a routine thing, it feels like. At least it feels that way. So let's take a break. Let's talk a little hardball after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the best bet card rooms of Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine.
I was watching a Giants baseball game on TV recently when I was reminded of just how good high school baseball in Jacksonville is. The Giants lineup had not one but two players from our city. Former Bowl star Austin Slater, now a 30-year veteran, was in the outfield, and rookie Brett Wisely of Sounderwood was at second. Our city has produced dozens of MLB players. I can go back to Don Bessa, the Dodgers closer in the 50s. Others that immediately pop into my mind are Vince Coleman, Daniel Murphy, Rick Wilkins, Brett Myers, Billy Butler, John Papelbon, Darren O'Day, and Storm and Glenn Davis. There are the brothers Matt and Ben Gamble. I apologize to those I've left out. Where is Hall of Famer Chipper Jones and Javier Baez? They moved to Jacksonville just to play baseball.
Check out Uncle Dave's column at 1010XL.com on the homepage. Look for Lamb at Large.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. Protect your home and your family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Kingfish was just out at my house for my annual termite protection. They do such a fantastic job. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is going to be pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the AFC South champion, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Beach towel? Check. Beach chair? Check. The Summer Starts Here sales event at Arlington Toyota? Check. Now is the time, folks, to get hot deals on even hotter Toyotas. Even better, Arlington has over 300 new Toyotas available. And with every new Toyota purchase at Arlington, you get their lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. I think this is going to be your best summer yet. Shop the Summer Starts Here sales event at Arlington Toyota today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Working in the trades industry, going nowhere, sick of dealing with grueling residential install projects and demanding seasonal schedules? Become part of something better. All Weather Contractors wants you to join our multifamily and commercial construction property maintenance team now. Based in Jacksonville, we offer premium pay, bonuses, full benefits, 401k programs, employee stock ownership opportunities, and a culture focused on career advancements and opportunities. Build a better career in the commercial property maintenance industry. Apply online today at allweathercontractors.com.
Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, and happy to report that Dandy has some brand new goodies, and they're only available at select Gate stores around town. 5 delicious new breakfast items to start your day off right. Fresh buttermilk biscuits, flaky croissants, French toast, maple waffles, all matched up with country sausage, ham, or bacon, fried eggs, and cheddar cheese. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so go out and make yours a dandy just a little bit earlier tomorrow.
Got that hometown flavor creeping up on you, yeah.
If you have a family member who is on active duty or a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res and get a 25% military discount. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile, upholstery, or Oriental rugs. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit Coastal Equipment today and go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Get ready to take your game to the next level at Best Bet. Come and experience the best in card games, top-notch hospitality, award-winning sushi, and nonstop fun at our Jacksonville and Orange Park locations. We've got something fun for everyone. Choose from a variety of exciting poker games, including limits to suit all skill levels. If you're looking to try something new, we offer easy-to-learn games like one-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Pai Gow. You can also place bets on thrilling simulcast races while enjoying delicious food and drinks. See why we're the go-to destination for gaming and entertainment. Go to bestbetjacks.com.
Jacksonville has some junk, and J-Dog is removing it. They're here to do the dirty work. You don't want to remove and dispose of large furniture or appliances yourself? Call J-Dog. Here now proudly serving you, removing junk from your home or business. They can even handle small demolition projects, and they're still donating local items to veterans in need. So let J-Dog do the dirty work for you. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned and operated. JDog.com.
Sportsmen, shooting enthusiasts, and public safety professionals. For over 50 years, we have been your #1 stop best prices on apparel, holsters, flashlights, and more. Look no further than GT Distributors. Celebrate GT Day's sales event with the best prices on everything you need to gear up. This is going to be bigger than ever, and it's happening only at GT Distributors, Friday and Saturday, May 19th and 20th. 2 days only, and you'll save 20% off select brands. That's 20% off top brands like Gerber, Safariland, and Magpul. Come meet factory reps, hourly door prizes, and a firearm giveaway on both days. Don't miss this huge store-wide event. GT Days, May 19th and 20th at GT Distributors, 2285 Kingsley Avenue, Suite A2 in Orange Park. Showroom hours are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, visit gtdist.com. Restrictions apply. Sale excludes guns, ammo, optics, Surefire, Wellen.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8 Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
For a third time. And Ohtani drills in. Oh, my goodness. Off the top of the Boog's barbecue area, Shohei Ohtani with an absolute moonshot.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on the Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Shohei Ohtani, maybe the most unique athlete really playing any sport. We talked about the most unique guy playing anything that I can think of.
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll see if Wembanyama can kind of become the phenom that many believe he can, the 7'4" guard that some lucky team will get the rights to tonight with the NBA lottery. But I mean, that's just a great basketball player. Like, even if he's phenomenal, you know, as wild it would be to see a 7'4" guard who is fluid and can shoot like he can, is amazing as that is, from a athletic feat standpoint, it doesn't touch what Ohtani is doing. I mean, to be able to hit major league pitching like he can and get out major league batters, it's incomprehensible how difficult it is what Ohtani's doing.
It really is. He is a
Somebody asked me, Frank, is he the Mahomes of baseball? I said he's the Mahomes of baseball and Darrelle Revis when he was playing for the Jets.
Right. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And here's the thing. Whether it's because he's stowed away in an irrelevant franchise that plays most of its games after 10 o'clock Eastern time, or whether he's because he doesn't speak English. Everyone said that worked against Ichiro, who also played on the left coast. up until probably within the last year or so, I won't say nobody knew. We all knew, but nobody marveled. You know that? We didn't marvel at it like we are now. We knew, and I think the World Baseball Classic contributed to it some, but now we marvel at what this guy has become. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Last night, when he had a chance to go for the cycle, he was batting in the 7th inning against Brian Baker, who pitched at UNF. So I'm watching this like, is Baker going to give up the double that gives Ohtani the cycle? And he hit an infield single, but still, he's a marvel to watch.
I saw another stat today that the best thing that happened, the reason the American League East is going crazy now, the reason, what's really helped them to have all these great records, everyone talks about rule changes, all right? The stolen base, the bigger bases, the pickoff changes, the shift, the clock. I think most people will agree they're great rules, right? I don't know of anybody that disagrees with any of those rules. But here's one that is kind of gotten under the radar a little bit.
The schedule.
It's now you play every team in the big leagues. Every team plays every other team at least once. That's never happened before. So you play the other 29 teams at least one time. Well, the way the schedule's begun, the East can't play each other all that much. So, in fact, you used to play teams in your division 19 times. Mm-hmm. What is it now?
13.
It's 13. So now you play teams in your division 6 fewer times, and you wind up playing everybody else all these times. Well, I can tell you as a fan of baseball, I learned about that. I mean, I've watched baseball pretty closely, but I watch National League all the time and Pirates all the time. National League most of the time, Pirates all the time. The Pirates are 20-8, lost to the Nationals in one game, didn't play very well. Went to play 6 straight against the Rays and the Blue Jays. It looked like goddamn high school team playing a little league team. It was men and boys, and I thought, and because they ran head on into those 2 National American League East teams. Gibby knows. Gibby's a Braves fan, and Braves have a really good team. Gibby just ran head on into those Jays, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, and got swept. When the Atlanta Braves get swept, when the Pirates get swept, that's one thing. When the dang Atlanta Braves get swept, that tells you a little bit about the division they're playing. There hasn't been a division like this. I'm telling you, Hayes, there hasn't been a division that feels – it's early, I know that. But there hasn't been a division that feels like this to me in a long time.
Yeah, ESPN did a really interesting story on this, and it talks about how the American League East is just absolutely killing everybody outside of their division and taking full advantage of it. The out-of-division record for the AL East is 93-48.
93-48 out of the division.
The next best is the NL West. It's 69-64.
Wow. So 93-48, which is 45 over. Okay, about 45 over, and the next best is 4 over, or 5 over. 5 over. How about that stat? I mean, they're all good. I mean, they're all legitimately legit. I mean, the Red Sox.
Do you think it has to do with the DH at all?
You know what? But those other American League divisions have been playing it too. Maybe a little. I do think the National League teams are still kind of figuring out how to do that.
That's what I would
so it's certainly
guess.
But the AL Central is last.
Yeah.
At 390.
Yeah.
At winning percentage, they're 60-94 outside their division, and the second from the bottom is the AL West.
Right.
It's 64
That's
and 74.
because they've got the A's.
Yeah.
I feel like that really drags them down
it
because everybody
does.
else is good in the AL West.
Yeah, and it's not a money thing because there's 2 rich teams in the Yankees and the Red Sox, and there's 2 not rich teams in the Rays and the Orioles. I'm guessing the Blue Jays are middle of the pack, probably top 10. You know, but it's not a money thing. It's great franchises. It really is. And I'll say this.
Blue Jays are 7th.
Are they 7th? Where are the Orioles? 20-something? 28th? 25th? 20-something? Okay, got to be, right?
They are 29th.
29th?
Just ahead of the A's, just behind the Rays.
How about that? Where are the Pirates?
The Pirates are 27th.
The Rays are 28th in payroll. 28th? And they're 31-11.
They're about just $1 million apart from the Pirates.
How about
75,
that? How about that?
4 and 74.
And you think about it. Give me the last 5, Lauren.
The Guardians are 26th. They spend $90 million. Then the Pirates, $75 million. Rays, $74 million. Orioles, $66 million. And the A's, $60 million.
You know what's amazing about that?
To spend $60 million, only have 9 wins.
But you know what's amazing about that? What you just read off? Other than the A's, the other teams are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The Guardians are a couple under, but they're better than that.
And they made the playoffs last year.
The Pirates are a few over, which they haven't been a long time. The Orioles are 11 over, and the Rays are the best team in baseball. So you know what it tells you is that teams are starting to figure out how to do it. The Rays set the model. The Rays built the model, and it shows you that the other teams are kind of showing how to do it. That's what's happening there.
The Rays, best team in baseball, they're spending $74 million. The worst team in baseball is spending $60, and they're $15 million apart, and one's the best, one's the worst. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, think about that.
You can also look at it and look at the fact that the Mets have a losing record, and the Mets are spending $346 million.
Well, they spend way too much money on old players, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, the Mets. Here's what happened with the Mets. The Mets have all this money. They got to figure out how to do it. I think Steve Cohen probably said, "Listen, here's $300 million. Let's make us the best team." Well, it doesn't work like that. You can have a lot of money, but the Dodgers also had a great farm system and all the money, and they developed players, and they knew who to trade and who not to trade. And sometimes, by the way, you get it wrong. The Dodgers traded O'Neal Cruz to the Pirates for Tony Watson, a left-handed reliever that you guys have probably never heard of. All right, that's why the Pirates have O'Neal Cruz. So even the best teams get it wrong sometime, but they have the luxury to get it wrong because they've got a bunch of other players too. So it's really interesting to watch this thing. I will tell you, I can't help it. I've told you guys this before. I can't help it. There's a side of me that's rooting for the Orioles a little bit. I don't really care who wins the American League, but I'm rooting for them to continue to be good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't care if what they win or what they don't win. It's hard not to appreciate what the Rays have created across baseball. I mean, the Rays have said, "Listen, we're gonna play in a freaking Costco. We're going to have nobody come to our games."
I'm sorry, Costco.
Okay.
Sam's Club.
Yeah. Okay, they're going to play in a Sam's Club. They're going to have nobody
Sam's Clubs are bigger.
Nobody's coming to our games. We're not going to have any money, and we're going to whip all y'all's asses. And we're going to be – and I got to tell you, I've watched them enough now. I don't think anyone's catching them. I mean, you can have some lulls. Baseball's a long season.
Sure.
But I don't watch the Rays and think, okay, they started with a bad schedule. Okay, I don't see that. When you see the Rays, do you see fluke or do you see they're going to be right there in goddamn August too?
No, I mean you can't look at the Rays now and say fluke. I mean, 10 games in, 15 games in, people thought,
right,
can they really keep this up? Well, now it's what is it, 50 games in, something like that, and they're still this incredibly good. You know what's also impressive to me about the Rays is they keep losing guys, and they still continue to just steamroll. Like Glasnow is supposed to come back. They lost Springs. They lost Rasmussen, who's been really good. But can they withstand all this, just losing pitcher and pitcher after pitcher and still keep on rolling? And somehow they've continued to do it. Like a guy that played at Florida State, Taylor Walls, has come on and just played incredibly.
A grand slam against the Yankees.
He played incredibly well.
Yeah.
By the way, the Angels and Orioles continue the 4-game series tonight. First pitch 6:35. So if you want to watch Shohei bat, at least against the Orioles, that game comes up tonight.
Who else is playing? Give me who the Braves playing. You told me already.
Braves are playing the Rangers, who are playing well, and in fact, the Braves are actually facing a local guy tonight who also played for Florida, Dane Dunning. From Clay County and the Florida Gators is pitching on the mound. He's playing well too. He's had a pretty good couple starts in a row. So the Braves are throwing one of their AAA arms because they're just trying to piece it together with Fried and Wright out against Dane Dunning tonight in Texas.
Dane's one of my favorite stories. I've told the story many times. We had the Warriors team some years back, Gibby, and I kind of ran it, but I didn't know the players. We kind of oversaw it and oversaw the money and whatnot. And we had a tournament game, and our coaches weren't there. So I said, I'll coach the team. It's kind of throwback, back in the old days. So I don't know them. I watch them in BP. So I ran up the lineup. And we had all kind of good players. Connor Maribel was on that team. A bunch of really good players on that team. Yeah, you probably know most of those guys.
Yep.
So I bat Dunning third because I see him. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, looks athletic, nice swing in the cage, right? So we beat this team, 14-2 or something like that. Dunning throws the first 3 innings. He's lights out. But he goes 0 for 5 with like 3 strikeouts. Okay? So I come in there, and they're all smirking. You know, they're all smirking a little bit at me. I don't know. He goes, and I said, boy, everyone got their swings except for you, Dunning. And he starts laughing. Then the rest of the whole dugout laughs. He goes, Coach, I can't hit. I had no idea. I bet this guy third that can't hit. I didn't know. So that's my Dane Dunning story for you, Gibby. I batted him third. He said, Coach, I can't hit. Well, thanks for telling me. You could have told me that when I wrote your name down third in the lineup.
Love it. He's 3-0 with a 1.72 ERA.
Yeah, he's a great kid. His brother pitched in the big leagues as well. His older brother played at Indiana and then got a cup of coffee with the Giants, I think it was. And then Dane is Dane's been wherever. He's been at the White Sox.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. So someone drafted him and traded him to the White Sox. And then he wound up with the Rangers. He played for the White Sox, but somebody traded him there, I think, after Florida. So, but yeah, I didn't know. So he's pitching against the Braves tonight. It'd be kind of fun to watch.
That's right.
The Nationals drafted him.
And then traded him to the White Sox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now
and his brother's name's Jake.
Yeah, who pitched in the big leagues also for a while. So no question. All right, we'll take a break. More in a moment. One more segment with Lauren Brooks. You realize, by the way, got a loser Monday coming up.
You don't have to ask me if I realized. I had to remind you we have it.
Carline loser Monday tomorrow.
Oh wow.
You know I'm taking? You know I'm taking?
I do not.
Tom Kite.
That's a good pick.
Don't you have a buddy that wants to give me some golf pick advice?
Yeah, who was that? Somebody said.
Yeah, I need that guy's phone
Somebody
number.
said, yes, yeah. Oh, Phil Stambaugh. My buddy
Yeah.
Phil Stambaugh said, tell Lauren if she needs help.
Correct.
give her
I
a
need
call.
help. Always.
We'll take a break. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Adding more flavor to your evenings.
What's that haunting aroma?
Into the night with Rick Ballou.
Will there be anything else?
Have a late night snack with Hacker.
You're gonna die soon with that diet, you know that.
Evenings on Jacksonville Sports Radio 1010XL.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. It's golf majors time again. The PGA Championship is back this week, and again, we have the PGA Heroes versus the Live Villains. So get your golf bets in now at MyBookie. If you haven't signed up, you need to sign up. This is going to be must-see TV, and you can bet long odds for big cash. The real fun is just with the live betting. You can live bet golf every day, Thursday through Sunday. I'm telling you, if you haven't signed up yet for MyBookie, do it now for the PGA. Take advantage of crazy boosted odds. You play, you get started. It's simple. You sign up today at MyBookie. Use promo code 1010XL to secure a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200 and play with $300 instantly. Just use promo code 1010XL to claim your bonus. Betting with MyBookie, bet the PGA Championship. Anytime, anywhere with MyBookie, and use that promo code 1010XL.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies cold case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case. Plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona to the King of Beers to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union, and that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with 121 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 16, 1985, Michael Jordan is named NBA Rookie of the Year, averaging 28.2 points, earning his first of 14 All-Star appearances.
In my job, I never held back. I played hurt and I pushed through the pain. Sound familiar?
Football legend Emmitt Smith had a reputation for just grinding through the injuries and pain over and over. That may be you. And QC Kinetics sees patients every day who are exhausted from dealing with the persistent pain.
A lot of you work physically demanding jobs. You stand, you climb, you bend down, you reach up, and if you have joint pain, it takes all you got to earn a living. But it's time you know about QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the leaders in regenerative treatments, help relieve that debilitating joint pain without surgeries or downtime. These are natural solutions that use your body's own healing properties to give you lasting relief from the soreness and achiness.
You got a job to do. I get it. But now you don't have to suffer through the pain. Check out my friends over at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Call Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. We want to win your business with honest and upfront transmission service. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. That's a promise from me. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Chad and Sandy Newman have a promise for you at chadandsandy.com. Your home is going to be sold guaranteed, or guess what, gang? They will buy it. Right now, it is prime home selling season. Home buyers are actively looking. Mortgage rates are stabilizing. It's the ideal time to get your home sold for maximum dollar. So any problems you think you may have, whether you want maximum equity for your home but not sure how, or maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades, don't worry about all those, because chadandsandy.com have a promise for you. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Denny and Patty in Waterfront Mandarin said another agent failed to sell our luxury waterfront home. We were tired of waiting, so we had moved out. It was costing us a fortune. We decided to put Chad and Sandy's guarantee to the test, and they did it. Our home sold in 12 days for $56,000 higher than the previous agents even suggested. Call Chad and Sandy, or better yet, go to chadandsandy.com. That's chadandsandy.com.
Business owners, regular maintenance of your storm drains is crucial for preventing parking lot floods and protecting your property from damage. Give Duck Duck Rooter a call today and schedule service with our VACCON team. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Rory, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the first Live Golf tournament. If you could look into your crystal ball, maybe say 3 years from now, where do you think the professional game will be?
I don't have a crystal ball.
Don't want to speculate?
No.
The comments of a now tight-lipped Rory McIlroy when it comes to the Live Golf Tour. Frank, I think Rory probably realized that attacking the Live Golf Tour and the golfers wasn't really helping his golf game.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think being the spokesperson for anti-Live probably affected him. I think he got asked a lot of questions. I think he's got emotionally tied to, because he was very passionate about it, and it was visceral and it was real. He really felt that way. It was very genuine, I think. But I think it probably affected his golf, and I think that's one of the reasons he's probably laid out of it. I think the other thing is, I think there's probably a movement among tour people that the more we talk about it, even if we're criticizing it or ripping it, the more we talk about it, we give it credence. And I think I wouldn't be surprised, Hayes, if there's been a move to quit talking about it.
I think so, because you're seeing it even in how golf is, I think, presented. Golf Channel is talking way more about Live players than at the Masters, where it was still somewhat taboo, I would say. And so I think you're starting to see that the golf world that doesn't really want Live to be around has sort of realized, look, just act like it's no big deal, because they're not making any traction. I mean, again, they've got a terrible TV deal that doesn't even guarantee it's going to stay with the event to its completion. That was a massive issue in this tournament. Now, in this market, it did, but in many, it didn't. It went to whatever the regular scheduled program on CW was going to be at 6:30 on Sunday. I mean, that's ridiculous. We don't have that in live sports anymore. It further illustrates what a complete farce the Live Tour is. And I think now it's okay, fine. You know, everybody's weighed in on whether it was a good idea to go over. And, you know, I mean, there's still issues that have to be worked out. They still have to work out whether Live is going to get accreditation for World Golf Rankings. I don't think they should. They play 3 rounds. I just think that's a disqualifier. And they don't have cuts and everything that goes along with it. So, yeah, I think in Rory's case there is a little bit of, I carried the mantle for the PGA Tour and now they're fining me $3 million for not participating in an event. So why would I continue to spend my energy on it? But I also think in general the anti-live golfing community has kind of figured out the best way to handle it now is just with apathy and not give it any oxygen. And that's what I think I've noticed a tremendous difference between how it was covered going into the Masters and how it's covered this week at the PGA.
I didn't even know that the Live Tour or the event this past weekend was stopped at any point in time. I have paid literally no attention to it whatsoever, other than when we have the majors and guys like Brooks Koepka are being discussed. I think Rory, I think being fined $3 million was a gut punch. And he went on to say that he talked to the commissioner, Jay Monahan, and explained the situation. And I think he expected, because he's been the face of the tour, Jay Monahan to just waive the fine. And I'm sure that according to the rule book, if you miss 2 events, you have to be fined. That's how it's going to work across the entire tour. Just because you have been super vocal and positive about PGA Tour doesn't mean that we can change the rules for you.
Yeah. So we'll see. Meanwhile, who you got? Who you feel confident about? You don't tell me who you're picking. Where's this thing headed? Big name guy?
Yeah, it's Rahm or Scheffler.
It's one of the names?
Is what you would think
Jason Day just won. I mean, you have to like the way he's playing.
Do we need a, not a no name, but do we need a Zalatoris Max Homa to win?
Well, Zalatoris is out for the year, so that would be a heck of a story if he gets it done.
Good adjustment.
Do
we need Max Homa to win?
I think it'd be great if Max Homa won. Yeah, I mean, there is a for all the stars in golf, there are still a pretty good list of players that are looking for that first major that have done a lot. Xander Schauffele is a player that a lot of people love this week. It would be his first major championship. Patrick Cantlay is certainly capable, you would think, of winning this major and others. Max Homa is certainly a great call. He's won a couple times this year. It seems like he's headed for that kind of moment. So and those are just 3 off the top of my head. So I mean I think you could absolutely see a first time major champion this week, and it wouldn't be the least bit surprising.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of guys like a Victor Hovland who have been playing super well, and then when it comes time to the major, certainly need to step up. It would be awesome to see Jordan Spieth pull it out. That would be a great story. But, of course, there's the live guys, too, that we just talked about. I mean, you've got to have Koepka and Dustin Johnson and Cam Smith amongst your top, odds to win.
Who have we picked so far? You have our picks?
I do. Gibby has picked John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler.
So Gibby, you can't pick one of the good ones. Okay.
And Gibby's on the clock.
Yeah, and
Gibby is on the clock.
That'll be
Is that what, world number 1 and number 2? I was really thinking it over.
I have selected Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy.
Oh, so you got both guys left.
But
you got both. You can pick either one of the 2 good ones. Where do you pick? What's our order?
I'm in second.
It's Gibby,
so you
Lauren.
can take your pick between Rahm and, or maybe you can do what you've been doing, just pass on both of them.
That's very funny.
Just pointing that out. just saying. That's what
For the record, Rahm was taken the first time, so I couldn't have had Rahm. And Scheffler was taken the second time, so I couldn't have had Scheffler.
Just couldn't help myself on that one. Go ahead. Okay.
So it's me, then you, then Ryan.
Okay, then who does?
I'm not talking anymore.
Who's Hayes pick?
Jason Day and John Rahm.
Okay, so you still pick Scheffler. You got Scheffler on there. And who have I picked?
Scheffler and Cantlay.
So I can still pick. I have not picked Rahm. I did not know that. I have not picked Rahm. So okay, it'll be fun. So it's
so either I'm going to be happy or you're going to be happy.
So Gibby will go first. I think he's going to pick him. Lauren's next. She can pick either one. I think she's going to take him, just so I can't. Okay. Not saying any names. And then, which by the way was what I would do. Then you pick next. I'm trying to figure out who's picking whom. I'm trying to go through my list and see who's picking whom.
You're not going to get my pick.
You know you're picking it, Lauren?
Me, no, I do not.
You know who you're picking?
Yes. And he will be there, and I hope for the best.
Give you know you're picking?
No, Will Zalatoris will be there, Hayes. He will be there.
By all means, pick Will Zalatoris.
Just because I didn't know he was out, I should have to pick him. Frank, you now have to take. You have no choice. You have to take Zalatoris.
I think it could be Zalatoris and Tom Kite coming down the back nine at Oak
Well,
Hill.
by the way, let me just. If Tom Kite's available, sorry, Will. Okay, I'm doing what I have to do. So it'll be interesting. I told you guys this earlier. It's been a good golf year. It's been a lively golf year so far. So it's going to be. I think it'll be fun to lock in on this one. I mean, it always is. It's a major, but I think it'll be fun. I've still got to get used to the PGA not being in August. That's been a hard adjustment for me.
Yeah, and it's crazy because this
July,
was
whatever
originally supposed. This tournament's in New York.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be held in August.
Right.
So they may have like frost delays.
How about that?
I mean, the weather could be absolutely a factor. So we'll see, but I think tomorrow they're expecting the high to be like 52. Yeah. So I doubt you'll see a lot of guys having an 18-hole practice round tomorrow.
Oh, that cold weather golf. I don't like cold weather golf.
I know.
By the way, Rory's a member of this club, Oak Hill Country Club.
Because of his wife.
Right, because she's from that area. I wonder, I'm sure none of us are going to pick him. A, Reimer can't, but B, also because he most recently didn't even make the cut at the Masters. But I wonder if now he's suddenly going to start playing better.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to watch.
If none of us pick him, he's going to win the PGA.
That's right.
That's what I can guarantee you right now, is that if he is not picked, he will win the PGA by 5
Don't you think he won't be picked?
I think he'll be picked.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
It'll certainly be interesting to watch. It really will. It really will be. You think one of us will pick him?
I would think.
I'm not picking him. I can tell you right
See,
now.
that's
I'm
what
last.
I had a feeling that's how most people would approach
I can just tell you, I just don't have a good feeling about it right now. I don't. I mean, if I don't pick him and he wins, then I'm the big dummy. It won't be the first time, but I'm not picking him.
Actually, I think it will be the first time.
Yeah. I'm not picking him. So I'm just telling you, I'm not picking him. So.
I will say this, forgetting the Loser Monday component here. There's no way he's going to miss the cut at the Players, miss the cut at the Masters, and not play well at the PGA. It's not going to happen. His game was in too good a shape to just fall apart, and he hasn't gotten injured. It's just, you mentioned the familiarity he has with the club.
Aren't you surprised that we don't know why he wanted to withdraw from that event? Like that somehow that information hasn't been leaked?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if anybody's really dug into it. I mean, it wasn't like it was a major. He missed, what was it, I don't even remember the event. So I think it's one of those things that when even a elite golfer pulls out an event.
RBC Heritage.
Yeah, I think unless it's Tiger or unless it's an elite player pulling out of a major, I think it kind of.
See, I wonder just because of the fact that he was fined the $3 million. Like there had to be a pretty good reason for him to do it.
It's a good time for it to, because nothing else, and again, this benefited the players when it was in this time slot. But it's a good time to have this because there's just not much out. The NFL's finally exhaled. The draft is over, and even though there's OTAs and minicamp, that's not something people pay a lot of attention to. Aaron Rodgers finally has a team. Lamar Jackson is finally back with his team.
Aaron Rodgers will probably be front and center of the
he will.
golf
He's been
tournament.
everywhere else, hasn't he?
Yep.
The NBA is ongoing, but it's not to the finals yet. I mean, so it's not. And again, I don't follow hockey closely enough to know how important this round is to hockey fans. But my point is, it's not. It's a good time to settle in and watch some golf this weekend.
And those games are all at night between hockey and.
You're right.
I know the NBA. I don't follow hockey.
You're right. Good point.
So yeah.
But I just think it's a. But even if it wasn't, I mean, Super Bowl's at night too, but no one's going to pay attention to golf if there was Super Bowl on. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this is I'm saying it's been a good golf year. It's been a good start to the golf year. However, Liv has or hasn't contributed to that, it's been an interesting year. It really has. It's been fun. All
Gibby,
right.
has it been fun? Has it been a good golf year? Because I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm usually pretty good at golf. I just got the John Rahm withdrawals because he had bad sushi or something on Friday
Because
of the
of Chris
Players.
Reimer.
Yeah, but I mean,
Poisoned him.
otherwise, golf's been pretty good to me on Loser Monday.
Yeah, there you go. So
Then I'll just speak for myself.
so there's that. Hey, what's coming up tonight? Anything fun? What are you doing?
Yeah, we're going to go through the schedule. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
And go through it a little bit different way. And then also, of course, we're going to talk about the Icemen. Their season ended last night.
But what a great year.
But what a fantastic year.
What a great
and
year
obviously,
they had.
Taylor follows it pretty closely. So we'll get into that. And I have a fun story that I told you off air, Frank, that I'll tell on air about an experience at Trader Joe's that I had over the weekend.
Yeah, I like it.
And, we'll talk baseball. We'll talk NBA. We got a lot coming up.
All right, all coming up. We'll enjoy your hour off. Lauren will take an hour off, then host Helmets and Heels. Hayes, Gibby, and I back after this. 1 hour to go. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Who's going to win NASCAR's All-Star Race?
Here they come, checker flag!
Find out Sunday night at 7 from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
The First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in the orthopedic practice and physical therapy and rehab centers categories once again. For the last 29 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
Tobacco-Free Florida knows how hard it is to quit nicotine, which is why we offer different quit options to choose from for free, like 24/7 quit coaches available over the phone and free 2-week starter kits of quit aids. We're even experimenting with 80s pop music.
I'm giving you up, giving you up, giving you up. I'm letting you go, I'm letting you never come back to smoke. I'll never come back to smoke. I'll never come back. I'm giving you up.
Or maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Slacker plumbing.
Yeah, hey, listen, I need a plumber over here right now.
Yeah, well, we don't have any openings for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
I was just changing the shower head and the water line broke and it's flooding everywhere.
All right, 1 week.
What if I throw you an extra $100 to come now?
What's the address?
It's 205.
Huh? I guess he changed his mind.
If you've got a leak that can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing and fix your plumbing problems fast. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. There's comfort in having real-time financial solutions you can trust. When it comes to your money, count on First Florida Credit Union. When value counts, rely on First Florida for rates and rewards that give you the freedom to enjoy more of what you want. When service counts, depend on First Florida for the conveniences you expect and the personal connection you deserve. First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
RV prices holding you back from your camping? For a limited time, General RV is offering exclusive savings during the Bid and Buy sales event. We're ready to negotiate prices and accepting offers on all new RVs. Make your camping dreams a reality with your price when you bid and buy May 17th through the 21st at General RV in Orange Park on Wells Road off 295. Any offer from a potential customer will be considered, but not all offers will be accepted. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars in their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
When you're hankering for a great barbecue meal, then head for your closest Woody's Barbecue. GPS us or ask Siri or Alexa. It's easy to find a Woody's Barbecue.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. 904-777-4477 or visit hairforme.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by General RV Center. There are 4 Jacksonville area high school baseball teams that have a shot at the Final Four tonight. 2 of those play each other, Bishop Kenny and Baker County. First pitch at 7 o'clock tonight. And BK head coach Tommy Edwards spoke this morning about the game.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. The atmosphere is going to be quite something. We got to defend the field and got to throw strikes. I mean, it's no different than any other game. But I think, yeah, they're good. They're good. And of course, every team in the playoffs is good right now. And we'll have to be, pretty strong with what we're doing and, again, adjust to the atmosphere and so forth. It's going to be a good ball game.
Bishop Kenny head baseball coach Tommy Edwards as they will play at Baker County later tonight with first pitch at 7 o'clock. 89 degrees at 4:57. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Here, that means it's time for more football. Football at 5.
5 o'clock somewhere.
On the Frangie Show.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Andrew Gibson. Lauren Brooks has the hour off. She gets set to host Helmets and Heels. Just gonna bop along for a little bit, okay? I'll get you
I'm
in a minute.
enjoying
You
it.
just settle down over there, okay?
Hey, I'm good. Let's just play music.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll bop around a little bit.
Yeah.
We were on camera now, so we can just bop along to the camera.
Around and that's not entertainment.
I don't know what
I
is.
don't know what it is.
What do you expect from OTAs? They start next week. And we get to go out one day a week. I mean, do you expect anything?
I think you're going to see a lot of smiles.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be
a good place.
I think they're going to be kind of reminiscent of watching the team in Ted Lasso training.
Yeah.
Where they're like basically they all like each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not caught up on the show, but I mean,
are you ever going to get caught up? By the way,
tonight I think my wife is finally back in town. So so that will be at the top of our TV watching list. But yeah, I mean, it kind of strikes me. I think there's some parallels because it just seems like they're a bunch of like young guys that all get along and like their coach and like the vibe and feel like they play well off of each other. And I think you're gonna see I think basically instead of playing like AC/DC and like rap over the loudspeakers, they should play like Shiny Happy People by REM for 3 hours because it just feels like that's where the team is right now, that everybody gets along. I think from the first impression of the draft picks is that they're going to fit right in with the vibe and it feels like they know they're talented, they have confidence, but they all get along. They all respect each other. They all are bought into the coach and the message. I think you're going to see basically like a bunch of happy cohesiveness out there.
Yeah, and make no mistake about this, and I'm serious about this, apart from the kidding about it. a big part of why they were good last year was that the culture. And I told Doug that we've had this conversation on air. I told Doug this on air and off air, that how he changed the culture of the NFL's by far most dysfunctional franchise, and frankly, the most dysfunctional franchise. And again, I'm not trying to pile on Urban Meyer; he's long gone. I don't mean it that way. It's how I assess the team. The most dysfunctional year in what was then the team's 27-year history. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh,
and they've had some bad
by a
teams,
mile.
but they haven't had that kind of dysfunction.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the head coach didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
And then instead of like kind of owning that, just made it toxic.
Well,
that was the solution. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'll make it toxic.
Yeah, when you get fired midway through your first year, that's pretty telling. You know, I mean, even Nate Hackett, it was after the year. You know, if you get fired midway through your first year, it's a pretty bad thing. So anyway, to have rebuilt the culture the way Doug Peterson rebuilt that culture is pretty amazing. And I do think the player procurement in the offseason spoke to that. I think every guy they drafted, they did their due diligence, man. And it's a guy that fit from a culture standpoint. It's generally a good person. It's generally a good teammate. I'll bet you if you went up and down the guys they drafted. Look, the one guy they drafted that we did cover and follow closely is Ventrell Miller, and he's the epitome of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, so and then everything you hear about Anton Harrison and Brenton Strange and everybody, Tank Bigsby, everybody they brought in. I mean, Parker Washington, you interviewed him. I felt that coming through the interview, and you talked to him for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that culture, that liking each other, people can call it sappy all you want. I don't care about that. I just want to win. Well, that aids the winning. It really does.
I think particularly now. I think it didn't really matter maybe 20, 30 years ago if teams necessarily got along, if you had the talent. As long as there was like a respect. I do think it matters now. I just think it's part of a cozier society that, and I think sports is a reflection of that. And so I do think it matters. And again, you would worry about the big ticket item maybe disrupting that, but they didn't sign a massive free agent. They made a trade for Calvin Ridley, and what did he do? He shook everyone's hand the first time he met the reporters in a press conference, which is the only time I've ever seen a player do that, and then was incredibly humble and gracious. Yeah. So Calvin Ridley's not going to be a problem.
Right. That's
and
right.
he's the big ticket item if there was one. All the other free agents that they brought in they're going to fall right in line. So the alpha males on the team, we all know, have this fantastic temperament. And again, I'm sure there'll be adversity, but it seems like other than injuries, I'd be surprised if they have to deal with adversity over personality clashes, playing time issues. Cam Robinson, I guess, is somewhat of a variable. We'll have to kind of see what plays out with his season and what's asked of him when he's available. But I think that the season may not go the way we think, but I don't think it's going to be because they have some locker room implosion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It'll be fun to cover. Bill Barnwell from ESPN has a list of predictions he thinks still are going to happen in the NFL. Let me run them by you. I'm going to go in order. Cowboys re-sign running back Ezekiel Elliott. He's on the market right now. He's certainly not their guy. Tony Pollard's their guy, and he's got the franchise tag. Do they bring Zeke back as the backup to Tony Pollard?
I think it could happen if it seems like that's where Zeke sort of wants to be. And, I think if he's willing to come in at a much lower price, then, yeah, it makes sense. And that's still you would still like to have that committee. You just didn't want to have it at that price tag.
Number 2, Ravens signed Teddy Bridgewater. Barnwell makes the point that he's surprised Bridgewater's still on the market as much as teams need backup quarterbacks. Agree or disagree?
Isn't Huntley still there?
Huntley is there.
Yeah, I don't think that they'll sign Bridgewater.
Yeah. Huntley also can give you the running threat that Lamar does, so you play the same way. Teddy cannot. Teddy's a drop-back quarterback.
And you're not keeping 3 quarterbacks, so I don't get why you would do that.
Packers signed Carson Wentz?
Oof, there's no chance of that. There's just no chance of that. First off, we started talking about toxic at the top with Meyer. Well, that's what you're getting with Wentz.
He's certainly not going to show up and help Jordan Love get better.
Right. Why would you bring Carson Wentz into that situation? That to me, if Green Bay wanted to do that, that's where you would like call Matt Ryan and say, we'll pay you $10 million to be Jordan Love's basically big brother this season. Like that I could see, but I wouldn't touch Carson Wentz if I was bringing along a young quarterback.
The next one, the Jets sign tight end Mercedes Lewis. Barnwell does not opine as to whether or not he thinks Mark Long will go too. But he does think that Mercedes Lewis goes to the Jets. Agree or disagree?
It would make a lot of sense because of the Rodgers connection. But I
mean, Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb are already there.
Yeah, and so I think the Rodgers connection makes it a possibility, but who knows?
You know what I do
Mercedes
think?
ends up.
I think C.J. Usama has a big year because of Aaron Rodgers is there.
And Conklin is there, who is an underrated player. The problem is Rodgers doesn't tend to go to tight ends a ton. So, but yeah, I mean, if he chooses to with the Jets, he'll have good options there.
The next one, he says the Chiefs sign a pass rusher, but he doesn't identify anybody specifically. Didn't they move on from Frank Clark and Dunlop?
So they could bring Clark back. Yeah, I mean, correct. They could. Both those guys are still free agents. So, who knows? I mean, again, if I was Kansas City, I'd sign Ngakoue.
Yeah.
I mean, the team that needs Ngakoue is a team that knows they're going to have a ton of double-digit fourth-quarter leads.
And apparently the deal, by the way, Ngakoue wants $12 million.
Right.
And teams want to pay him $6 million.
Correct. So he still hasn't.
They're not close. Apparently, the word you hear.
Correct. So that's the thing is that Ngakoue still hasn't sort of realized that you're not going to get paid like that, and so until he realizes that, he's not going to have a job.
Yeah. Floyd, Houston, Clowney are all out there too. We said Frank Clark. It'll be interesting to see. The Giants sign a guard. I don't care about that. Eagles sign Miles Jack. Does that fit? He's out there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if his health is okay, sure. If you're Philadelphia, you can't. Philadelphia can't do anything.
You know, Miles Jack's only 27. It feels like he's been around forever.
It's astounding,
doesn't it?
I mean, he was incredibly young. I mean, I'm not even sure he was 21 when he was drafted.
Yeah,
he was very, very young.
Yeah, interesting stuff. I'm trying to see if there's anything else.
Did Barnwell make a Jaguars prediction?
Not yet. He says he talked about these teams adding. He said teams adding receivers, not adding receivers. Justin Jefferson getting a record deal. I don't think that's exactly out on a limb. I think he's the best receiver in the league, by the way.
Yeah, he'll get the best receiver deal in the history of the league.
Here's one. He thinks the Titans will move on from their veteran stars to the point you've made all along. I'm going to read it verbatim. New general manager Ren Carthon is overseeing the retooling. 3 of Tennessee's 4 players with a cap hit north of $10 million might not be on the roster week 1. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill and running back Derrick Henry are entering their final years and have declined from their peaks. Safety Kevin Byard was asked to take a pay cut and refused. Could they really move on from Derrick Henry? You're the wrong one to ask because you think the answer is absolutely yes because you've been suggesting it, right?
Yeah, I think that I think they absolutely could. And I think, honestly, it would be in their best interest long term. And I understand what's the message to the fan? Well, the message to the fans is you're rebuilding. Right. I think what makes it tough is what Houston and Indianapolis have sort of done. Because if Tennessee launches into a rebuild, then they're behind Houston in that. And now they're sort of behind Indianapolis in that because this year would be a lost year. You'd be basically hoping to lose every game to get Caleb Williams. If you were to trade Derrick Henry, Tannehill, your best players, players that by the time you get good again will be too old, those are the kind of players that Tennessee would move on from, not like Jeffrey Simmons, who will still be good in 3 or 4 years. But they're now kind of in a little bit of a tough place in that they're probably the second best team in the division. So with Tannehill, if Tannehill and Henry are there and Simmons, most people will probably pick Tennessee to finish second. So part of it is, part of it is, well, what happens if the Jaguars fall on their face? I mean, what happens if, Trevor Lawrence gets injured early on or something happens and Jacksonville just isn't the contender that people are making them out to be? Then the division could be there, for Tennessee to take.
And maybe that's why you don't do anything out of the gate. And for the reason you just said.
Yeah, and that could be. Maybe they wait. It's going to be harder to trade Tannehill, you would think close to the deadline, unless there just happens to be a quarterback injury right at that moment. I think from a long-term standpoint, I think Tennessee would be better off to go ahead and retool. But I would have done it way before now. I mean, now you've let the draft go by, so it doesn't do you as much good now to go all in with it. But I think if Tennessee starts out poorly, I think absolutely at the deadline you could see them trading Derrick Henry and trying to at least get back some sort of third, fourth round pick.
Man, that would just be. And by the way, that would trading Derrick Henry or moving on from Derrick Henry, however they do it, would have to coincide, to your point, of also moving on from Tannehill and giving the ball to Will Levis, right? I mean, if you're going to move on, and you've said this about the Titans all along, if you're going to move on, you got to move on. If you're the one thing nobody can do in any sport, I promise you, is half rebuild. The worst thing in sports is a half rebuild.
It can't be done.
It can't be done. A half rebuild is the worst thing in sports. If you're going to rebuild, you got to find.
So again, this is just real quickly Tennessee's schedule. So they're at New Orleans. That's a loss to open the season. They're home against the Chargers. I think that's a loss. They then go to Cleveland. I'll say it's a win. I'll say of those first three, they win one of those three. They then host Cincinnati. That's a loss. So now I think they're 1-3. They go to Indianapolis. That's a win. They're 2-3. They play Baltimore in London. That's a loss. So I mean, I think they're looking at a 2-4 start heading into a Week 7 bye. And then they host Atlanta. They'll win that game, I think, to get to 3-4. But then they enter into that 3 straight road game, terrible situation that the league gave them, where they go to Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and then come here to Jacksonville.
Right.
So that's going to be probably a 1-2 trip, and you're going to be out of it at that point by Thanksgiving. So, I think that you could absolutely see them at the deadline saying, "We're out of it. Let's go ahead and strip it down."
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with them. I am intrigued with the Will Levis thing. It'll be fun to watch to see how soon he plays. I know Prisco loves him, and Prisco follows the league so closely. I don't love him as a prospect. Now, I don't love Richardson as a prospect, but I love Richardson more than Levis as a prospect. I like Richardson as a prospect more than Levis. I've said all along, or not all along, but I've said of late, I think Richardson's going to be the opening day starter. I still think that. I think he's won people over in Indianapolis already. I think he starts opening day, and I think Levis, unless, like you said, you look up and the Jags are 8-2, and you are 3-7, and you're not getting there, and then you move on. But other than that, I don't think it's going to happen. Take a break. More in a moment. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Hey, it's Carline here for QC Kinetics. Let's talk about living life to the fullest. That's just something you can't do when you're in pain. So call QC Kinetics for a free consultation at 904-274-5522. Set up your visit at the Mandarin or Ponte Vedra locations. QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life, providing needed relief from chronic joint pain. If your joint pain is in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, QC Kinetics can help you by directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. There's no surgery. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments from your own body's natural biologics. There's no surgery, no downtime. Live your life. Golf, walk your dog, hike, enjoy time with your family. Don't wait one more day. Get started. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation at 274-5522 in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. That's 274-5522.
As a new hope dawns in Jacksonville. It's true. A city awaits the promise of greatness.
The Force is strong.
Join the adventure with us.
Well, come on.
1010XL.
The Force will be with you.
Radio from another galaxy.
Hey, if you want an insurance agent you can trust, let me recommend my friend Craig Dewhurst from State Farm. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy and really good insurance agent. Automotive, life insurance, homeowners, whatever you need, he's the guy you can trust. And then when something goes wrong, he shows up. That's not just a line from State Farm. Trust me, I know this. We've had things go wrong, and Craig shows up and handles it. Frank, worry about your family, worry about your show. I got this. That's why you hired me. Boy, I'm glad I did. The best insurance agent around, my friend Craig Dewhurst from State Farm. Call him at 940-9740.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Did you hear what's happening? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are spring cleaning. New inventory on the ground means the old has to go. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the new year by saving thousands on thousands of vehicles priced to sell. New and pre-owned prices have been reduced, and all sales associates have been instructed to give maximum value on all trades. But you better hurry. That's right. Best deals go first. Head to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to take advantage of the spring cleaning sale. We're here to wow you.
Sportsmen, shooting enthusiasts, and public safety professionals. For over 50 years, we have been your #1 stop best prices on apparel, holsters, flashlights, and more. Look no further than GT Distributors. Celebrate GT Day's sales event with the best prices on everything you need to gear up. This is going to be bigger than ever, and it's happening only at GT Distributors, Friday and Saturday, May 19th and 20th. 2 days only, and you'll save 20% off select brands. That's 20% off top brands like Gerber, Safariland, and Magpul. Come meet factory reps, hourly door prices, and a firearm giveaway on both days. Don't miss this huge store-wide event. GT Days, May 19th and 20th at GT Distributors, 2285 Kingsley Avenue, Suite A2 in Orange Park. Showroom hours are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, visit gtdist.com. Restrictions apply. Sale excludes guns, ammo, optics, Surefire, Wellen.
Now is the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get $500 off a full roof replacement and $250 off roof repairs. Plus, same as cash financing for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 123-0147, CBC 125-8484.
She may be a Yankee, but the girl knows ball.
Someday she's gonna be a real big star.
Catch Mia O'Brien on XL Primetime weekdays, Helmets and Heels Tuesday nights, and on 1010XL's video and social channels. Driven by Arlington Toyota.
Bueller. Look, folks, I've been hearing it my whole life. But the truth is, there's never been a better time to stay cooler with Bueller. Right now, we can send a qualified Bueller technician to perform a thorough tune-up and cleaning of your AC system for just $119. We'll even include up to 1 pound of refrigerant to balance your system for peak cooling performance this summer. Now that's staying cooler with Bueller.
Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
ITP Partners, the official financial firm for the station to beat inflation.
Whoa, Dan. People don't want to joke about their money, not during these tough times.
You mean they'd rather hear about how ITP Partners takes our money and makes us more money?
Now you're talking. They make financial planning simple and easy to understand, even for a couple of slappies like us.
Those guys have been serving Hickets for 3 generations. Junie bugged me. I even got my son Drew being smart with his money in his 20s.
It's never too early to talk with Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Brian Wright, Reagan Wright, Jeff Hartman, and Craig Ross.
Financial questions, ideas, or thoughts, email chris@itbpartners.com.
Waste Management is paying a $5,000 bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine. Apply online at wm.com/careers.
Equal opportunity employer.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. It's golf majors time again. The PGA Championship is back this week. And again, we have the PGA Heroes versus the Live Villains. So get your golf bets in now at MyBookie. If you haven't signed up, you need to sign up. This is going to be must-see TV, and you can bet long odds for big cash. The real fun is just with the live betting. You can live bet golf every day, Thursday through Sunday. I'm telling you, if you haven't signed up yet for MyBookie, do it now for the PGA. Take advantage of crazy boosted odds. You play, you get started. It's simple. You sign up today at MyBookie. Use promo code 1010XL to secure a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200 and play with $300 instantly. Just use promo code 1010XL to claim your bonus. Betting with MyBookie, bet the PGA Championship. Anytime, anywhere with MyBookie, and use that promo code 1010XL.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
I like this. What is it?
Shiny Happy People by Aria.
Oh, there you go.
Give you with another
well done.
another deep drive out of the park.
This is what we should play at training camp.
There you go.
Shiny Happy People.
All right. Speaking of happy people, and this isn't and I don't mind this guy, and maybe it's an age thing. If I'm showing my age, I apologize. I'm not sure I completely get the Pat McAfee thing. Pat McAfee had a $120 million deal with FanDuel. Let me say it again for those in the back. A $120 million deal that he is walking away from to go to ESPN, as you should, by the way, and make $10 million a year from ESPN. Obviously, he would have made more with FanDuel, but if you go to ESPN, you go to ESPN. I don't know that I get the Pat McAfee $10 million a year yelling out in the tank top. I don't mind him because even though he's loud, he's not obnoxious. He's actually kind of a cool guy. He's like nice to people. Usually loud guys are always ripping people, and he doesn't really do that.
Right.
He's not that guy. He's a positive loud guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it? I think maybe you do more than I do.
I don't know. I mean, I get it because I see his energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the void that he has done a really nice job of filling, particularly on a show like Game Day, where that was really where I've never gotten the chance to really listen to much of his podcast and things like that. We mentioned my wife's son John earlier in the show, and he's like 24, and loves McAfee, and all of his friends do.
Well, that's the
that's
story.
the demo that McAfee is delivering. But I will say, like when Game Day was in Knoxville and McAfee is putting on the overalls and then doing a backflip into the river, for the Vol Navy. I mean, he definitely brings an energy, and it's a fun energy. I think to a show like Game Day is fantastic. I haven't heard enough of him to know about his opinions on what teams should do or not do and things like that. But I think he's done a nice job. I mean, it feels like there's not a lot of young stars in media, and I think McAfee is.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is he's so versatile. I mean, if you like pro wrestling, I mean, he's done great in that as an announcer, but also, I mean, he'll get in the ring and do a backflip off a turnbuckle,
Right.
I mean, he's obviously, you can tell he's athletic. He was a punter in the NFL for many years for the Colts. So I think it's just he's got such a unique skill set and unique background. And you're right, he doesn't take himself too seriously. I mean,
and he's
again,
not one of these guys that wants to rip everybody. He's got a positive energy.
I don't think I've ever heard him. I mean, maybe. I think there have been times, but he ripped like the Pirates owner that time, which was funny.
Well, he was right,
and he deserves to be
right.
ripped.
Yeah, but he's got a positive energy.
Yeah,
about him.
there's no like Skip Bayless and Pat McAfee.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say, and yeah. So I mean, and I think he is. I think he makes fun of himself. I mean, again, Pat McAfee, when he was a young player with the Colts, got arrested because he got drunk and swam in the downtown river.
I can tell you stories when he was here with West Virginia for the Gator Bowl. I knew people in the police department, JSO, that their job was to chaperone or be security for the West Virginia football team. And whereas I don't have any stories of anything that happened specifically, he was always the one they were told to keep an eye on. I can tell you that. Buddies of mine that were in the JSO were told to keep an eye when you travel with West Virginia. Watch that, and they did. And he was, and they would say, okay, I can see what they're saying. I can see what they're so. I mean, he was always when he was here in town. I remember meeting him when he was here in town with West Virginia, and so and I'll also say this too. There's a challenge with ESPN management and CBS management to the old guys stay around for so long that even though people love them, it's an older demo that loves them, and you got to stay relevant and young. I mean, Griffin and I talked about this at lunch today too. Our industry too. His charge is to make sure 1010XL will stay young and relevant, and the Channel 4 and Fox, all or Action Sports and all, they have the same challenge. Other networks have the same too. That you don't want to get locked into all the old guys all the time. Hell, listen to me. I'm an old guy talking, but I get it. I get the paradigm that you always have to stay young. And I love Coach Corso, but Coach Corso isn't the draw he once was. Dick Vitale's not the draw he once was. Boomer, Chris Berman's not the draw he once was. So you got to make sure you get the next wave of those guys. And I guess McAfee represents that tenfold, right?
I think so. And again, I think it helps that, he's comfortable in a college football setting, whether it's breaking down a game or doing some sort of physical comedy that's, going to get people, drawn to the TV. I think it helps that he played in the NFL, so he can, certainly go through, through the experiences of being in an NFL locker room. And again, obviously, he must do a fantastic job of building friendships. I mean, I think one of the big things that's made Pat McAfee, his star, really rise is, having the relationship that he's had with Aaron Rodgers for the last couple of years. I mean, he's been breaking news because Aaron Rodgers will come on the Pat McAfee show and talk about, things that he's doing. So I think his ability to, bring in A-list guest is also paramount as well. So, I'm looking forward to hearing more of Pat McAfee.
Okay.
But I will say it's been more of a grassroots. I think the younger sports fans are the reason that he's been able to have this huge momentum.
Well, the story you told about Gene's son. How old is John?
24.
He's 24. That demo that loves sports will love him. Mm-hmm. And I will say this. I think I love game day. I love game day. I love what they do. I love the way they've always done it. I think Herb Street's really good. For whatever reason, he's a guy that gets criticized a lot. I guess anytime you're out there a lot, the more front-facing you are, the more people are going to like you. But quite frankly, the more that aren't. And I get it. But I really like Herb Street. I mean, for me, game day will always be Fowler, Corso, and Herb Street. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. But Reese Davis you like Reese?
Yeah, he's fine.
Reese is good. Reese is good. If Fowler was going to move on, which he wanted to do, if Fowler was going to move on from game day, Reese was the perfect guy. He's kind of Fowler. Mm-hmm. He's Fowler from Alabama instead of Colorado. Same guy. And I think Herb Street's really good. But I think we had this talk on the air. Craig James was the first guy in this.
Right.
Like for what was it? 1 year?
I think so.
Might have been like 1 year.
'Cause that was back when Bino Cook would be on.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So he was. But I know I do. So it'll be interesting to see, man. Do you like Pollock?
Yeah, I like David Pollock.
I do too. He's a guy that would fit perfectly into that show if Herb Street wasn't there. If Herb Street moved on, because they put him on with Herb Street now.
Right.
And then Desmond's okay. I don't think Desmond's great, but he's okay. But I think Pollock is kind of interesting. David Pollock would be a superstar, except for the fact that he's on with all these other stars, and he kind of is the backup. Mm-hmm. He's the backup quarterback that he's Rob Johnson. He's the backup quarterback that you figure if he ever got to start, he'd be really good, right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
And he just hasn't gotten to start yet.
Mm-hmm. And I think one day he will. But yeah, I think David Pollock brings a lot to the show. So, but game day needed, I think, an energy because of what you're saying. Lee Corso, I think, used to bring that and still does its best. I mean, bless his heart. I mean, everybody loves Lee Corso, but yeah, I think game day needed to bring in some energy. And I think Pat McAfee did a great job of that. And I mean, again, how many people walking the earth could fit into College Game Day, have a podcast where they talk about the NFL, and also be a performer and announcer in WWE? Right. I mean, you've got to have some versatility to be accepted in all three of those venues.
You're right. Exactly right. We've got one segment to go, then we'll hand it off to the ladies from Helmets and Heels. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are down to the conference finals. The East has the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Florida Panthers. The Hurricanes are plus 200 to hoist the Stanley Cup, while the Panthers, who have beaten the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, are at plus 350. The Dallas Stars are plus 300 to win the Stanley Cup. They're coming off a 7-game series against Seattle, where they beat the Kraken 3-2 in Game 7. The Vegas Golden Knights, their opponent in the West, are plus 350. The Golden Knights are coming off a series against the Edmonton Oilers.
I'm Tony Desiri on 1010XL, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Captain Kevin Favor here to tell you about my friends over at Duck Duck Rooter. They are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and are currently looking for top talent to join their team. If you are a plumber, CDL driver, or have experience installing septic drain fields, come join Duck Duck Rooter and win. They offer their players a full package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, matching 401k, and new state-of-the-art equipment and more. Log on to duckduckrooter.com and click on the careers page to apply. That's duckduckrooter.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! AgPro's Load Up on Savings event is here. Right now, get a John Deere Z320R with 42-inch deck for $37.99. Visit agproco.com for more info. Offer ends 5/31/23. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, sports fans, Hayes Carline here from MyBookie. If you like going to the casino, then you're going to love the revamped online casino at MyBookie. They have a live casino option where you play blackjack with a real person, a live dealer, just like you're sitting at a blackjack table in Vegas. Roulette, too, same thing. It's awesome. The live casino, it puts you on a table with a live person spinning the roulette wheel just like at the casino. If you haven't checked out the new live casino option yet, go to mybookie.ag now and see what I'm talking about. I've been playing all last week, killing it on roulette. If you like to play Pai Gow, poker, or Ultimate Texas Hold'em here locally, now you can play from the comfort of your own home. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience. Of course, you're going to get a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. That's promo code 1010XL to secure yourself a sweet deposit bonus. Sign up today at MyBookie. Check out the live casino tab for blackjack and roulette. Play anytime, anywhere with the MyBookie Casino.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Bridging the gap between the First Coast and the swamp.
Gators. I'm Taylor Dahl. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts on 1010XL.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on Southside near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. 2 great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Have you seen this story that the Jags have signed Samus Reyes? Am I saying it right?
It's a big one.
He's a Chilean-born tight end, and he will be the first player from Chile to ever play in the NFL. I take it back. He is the first player from Chile to play in the NFL. He played for the Commanders in 21. He was on the practice roster for with the Bears. I got that from Demetrius Harvey. So
6'7", 240.
How about that?
Yep, he was on Chicago's practice squad, so we can also get a full scouting report from Taylor Dahl.
And by the way, it's kind of funny, not just football. I guess that's one of the things teams do is try and find that diamond in the rough, right?
Absolutely.
I mean that's what
you got 90 spots.
That's exactly right. And they don't. And by the way, the diamond in the rough don't happen very often.
Right.
But tight end's the spot that they do sometimes because they come from basketball.
Right.
You know, Jimmy Graham was a basketball player.
Sure. Antonio
Gates was a basketball. Yep. Those guys were basketball players that turned into great tight ends. So it's kind of interesting to see what happens. Do you think Brenton Strange is going to be really good? I think he's going to be really good. Do you have a good feeling about him?
I don't know about really good, but I mean, I think that, you know, here's the best thing he has going for him. The environment is incredible.
Right.
Because of who the head coach is, because of the fact that he's got a young quarterback that has already established himself. I think Brenton Strange it's all in front of him. It's all up to Brenton Strange. And so, I like the environment that he's in. I'm going to need weeks into August before I can, proclaim anything and, in terms of excitement over him. But I still am surprised that was the pick, but that doesn't mean that it won't be a great pick. So, I mean, again, I didn't see anything, and I went out there Friday. I didn't see anything that moved me, dramatically one way or another. I mean, he's a good-looking player, but you would certainly expect that of a second-round athlete. So, I like the environment should give him success. If he is good, they will certainly make him great. If he's average, they will make him good, and if he's awful, they will make him, I guess, subpar.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say I'm excited the way I am about Tank Bigsby. That's where I've thrown. That's where my bet's going is on Tank. I think he's gonna be a really good player. But I do think Strange will be good for them. I think Anton Harrison will be good for them. So I'm looking forward to seeing, like you, the next week when we get one peek at the entire team together. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that, seeing how that looks. Lakers at Nuggets tonight. Can my Lakers steal one?
I think
steal one out in Rocky Mountain country.
I think they could. There's obviously an immense amount of pressure on Denver. This is their year.
Right.
I mean, and so that adds to the pressure because they're just a franchise that's not used to having that. So it would make a lot of sense for a team like the Lakers with LeBron James, who's as playoff savvy as pretty much any player we've ever seen in league history. It would make sense for LA to go in there, but Denver's been so great at home. I don't think this is going to be a sweep by any means, but the Nuggets are 34-7 at home in the regular season. They've been great in the postseason. I think it's close. Denver's a 6-point favorite. I think I take the Lakers to cover, but the Nuggets win. So I say Nuggets by 4.
Yeah, I think I would love it. I would love it if the Nuggets could. I mean, if the Lakers could hang around. Because I just want to keep watching LeBron. I do get the sense that this is going to be about as hard a challenge as even LeBron's ever had. I don't you get that sense?
I do.
I mean, has the Nuggets ever won a title?
I don't think so. Not in my life, unless they won it, 100
They lost in
years
the
ago.
conference finals to the Lakers in 08-09. I think that's it. They lost conference semis in 18-19 to the Trailblazers. They lost again in the conference finals. I guess was that the COVID year 20? 20 was the COVID, right?
Correct.
So they lost in the conference finals to the Lakers 4-1. I don't think they've ever been to the finals.
I don't think they have
Since they've been in the NBA. They were in the NBA. Since they've been in the NBA, I don't think they've ever made the finals.
Yeah.
I've got them twice losing in the conference finals, but they've never been to the finals. Unless I'm missing something, they've never been to the NBA finals.
From what I'm seeing here, from 1990 until 2003, they only had 2 playoff seasons.
Wow.
And only won one series. So yeah, I mean they're kind of like
conference finals back in '85 also lost to the Lakers. But yeah, I don't think they've ever been to the finals.
It doesn't look like it. I don't think they have. And and again, I will say, I mean, for most of my life, Golden State was a total pretender.
Yeah.
And then they
That's
got
right.
this generational shooter built around them. Became a dynasty. We'll see what Denver can do with
in the
Joker.
In the ABA, the year before the two leagues merged, the Nuggets made the ABA finals and lost to the Nets. The Nets had a guy named Julius Erving. You might remember. You might have heard of him.
I have.
But that's the only time they made finals in either league. Interesting stuff. Who's your?
I mean, honestly, they're one of the few organizations where you could say Denver Nuggets, first player that pops into your head.
Yeah.
I don't have a player that pops into my
I was
head.
getting ready to ask you. I've got a few. I've got Alex English, David Thompson. Alex English, you probably remember a little bit.
Kind of.
David Thompson, you probably don't remember. Phenomenal college player at NC State. Won a national title there. Dan Issel.
I mean, I remember him as a coach.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't. So none of those guys do anything for you.
Nah.
I've got one.
Who?
Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony was
He's drafted there.
He would qualify.
I just don't think of him as a Nugget.
Yeah, and he's been a lot. Probably me too. I'm going to give you the best Nuggets of all time. To me, it would be Alex English, David Thompson, Dan Issel. But I found a list because there's great lists. Best thing about the internet's lists. I'm going to give you this. Somebody had a list. Best of all time. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This has. Okay, Jokic number 1, obviously, because he's there now. Alex English number 2. You don't remember Alex English?
I remember him. He would score a bunch, but
Great
never won
scorer.
anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Alex English number 2. David Thompson number 3, and he was one of the great scorer. I think one year, Gervin won the scoring title on him because I think he scored 72 in the last game, and Thompson scored 71 or something like that.
Wow.
So he's 3rd. So I definitely remember those guys. Carmelo, give it to your point, 4th. I don't remember he was a Nugget either. After that, Mutombo's 5th. I didn't know he played for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Fat Lever, I know him because I bought his shoes at an auction and then wore them. It's fantastic. It was great. I'm my autographed Fat Leaper shoes. I got them. I wore them in the basketball league about 3 years. Phenomenal. Otis Smith Foundation. Dan Issel, 7. Wow, that's low for him, I would think. Bobby Jones, who played for the Sixers, best I could remember.
That was a great golfer.
T.R. Dunn is 9th. If T.R. Dunn is 9th, you don't have much of a list.
No.
And Marcus Camby, the 10th greatest Nugget of all time.
I remember him.
Yeah.
The thing about Carmelo is he played for 5 more teams after the Nuggets.
I don't.
But he was the 3rd overall pick to Denver.
Yeah, I did not know that. I did not know
02.
Yeah, Otis Smith
03.
played there. Otis Smith. So there's a little Nugget pride for you.
So maybe it's the Nuggets' time.
Yeah.
And because I think they're certainly favored over the Lakers, and I think they'll be favored over whoever comes out of the East.
So I can remember writing in the Times Union, a notes column, and I said Otis Smith got drafted by the Nuggets. I said that's a bad break. Otis Smith needed to go to the league and be another T.R. Dunn, and he went to the only team in the NBA that had a T.R. Dunn. I can remember the former Alabama player, so it'll be fun to watch. I'll watch tonight though. I mean, I'll be pretty locked in tonight, and I will say this: the later you get in the playoffs, you don't want to be playing LeBron. Now, I think the Nuggets are way better, and I think Jokic is way better, and they're going to beat him. But I will tell you, I mean, you let that guy keep going in the playoffs, you know?
He's playing with house money.
Correct.
He's a 7 seed.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with the Bucks when Brady went there. Brady was over the hill, but the longer they kept playing, you didn't want to play against number 12, man.
Right.
You know, and this is the same thing. You don't want to be playing against this guy the deeper you get.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think there's a monumental amount of pressure on both favorites in the conference finals. I think there's monumental pressure on the Nuggets for the reasons we've discussed. I think there's a ton on the Celtics.
I do too.
I mean, the Heat are playing totally with house money. They were the 8 seed.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, and again, it's interesting because I think the Celtics are paying for a little bit of the Bruins' failures. And so I think that, there's pressure on Tatum to deliver the ring. There's pressure because of the history of the Celtics. And I think there's some pressure on just what's gone on in the city sports-wise over the last month. So I think they're going to both handle it. I think the Nuggets and Celtics are going to convincingly win the series. I think they're both going about 6 games. But I do think it's usually you would think it's a little bit more 50-50 when it comes to pressure. I think it's 80-20 on both sides.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I'll be watching. And the nice thing is, by the way it plays out now, there will be games every night. It's the Lakers Nuggets tonight, the Heat Celtics tomorrow night, the Lakers Nuggets again on Thursday. I assume Friday. I assume at least through Friday. You said last week they didn't play on Saturday.
They are scheduled to play on Saturday. Yeah, so we'll have
the next 3 nights there's games.
We'll have basketball for the next actually 8
straight
nights because Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals is set for Monday. And this is, it may even go beyond that. This is just as far. Let me hit this real quick and see if it goes to if they pick right back up. Yeah, so I mean they pick right back up on Tuesday. Yeah, there's basketball. Wow, I mean it looks basically like until.
You know what I just thought about?
What's that?
I'll be in Colorado next week. Nothing says NBA playoffs like me.
There you go.
I may have to start. Do I go to a game if I'm? Well, I'm not. I'm in Vail. We're in Vail actually Wednesday through Saturday. We're driving over to Denver on Sunday because we're going to go to Red Rocks. I've never been to Red Rocks. I mean, again, nothing screams NBA playoff attendance,
right?
Like me.
Yeah.
Okay. So
are the Rockies in town?
They are, but we're not going. So,
okay.
So we're actually Vail's actually about 2 hours away. Suzanne and I and another couple, and we're going to be in Vail from Wednesday through Saturday. So at least I thought about it. At least I took a little peek.
That's right.
If the Pirates had been in Coors Field, I would have gone, Gibby. I can definitively tell you.
I've got some news, not good.
Okay.
Kamar Rocker, Tommy John. He's going to have Tommy John this week.
Is he really? Who drafted him? The Mets?
Well, the Mets drafted him, and then they didn't sign him.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers drafted him and signed him, so he's the Rangers' number 6 prospect. You know, obviously Vanderbilt, really good pitcher.
Right.
But they said that this is what the Mets saw in his physical. The reason they didn't sign him was they may have said, hey, he's may be looking at Tommy John in a year or two. And sure enough, I hate it for him, but I found it interesting what Matt Paulus said to us last Friday, that a lot of these guys are still coming back, and some coming back stronger, which is kind of crazy. I mean, James Paxton hasn't pitched in 2 years because he had Tommy John, and he once upon a time threw 93. He threw 98 the other night.
Yeah, guys, number one, guys throw harder than they ever have. That's happened. Guys, just about everybody now comes back from Tommy John, and and Matt made a great point, Gibby. It's the rehab. It's not just the surgery.
Yeah, it's you're rehabbing everything.
And you're rehabbing better than you've ever rehabbed in your life.
Correct.
So you're more committed to your body and to everything than you. And so that's why you come back stronger. Which I never thought about that.
I didn't either.
You've heard that guys come back from Achilles, guys come back from ACLs, that they all come back stronger. But you never knew why. Well, that's why, because you rehab harder than you ever have. So there's that. All right. Let's say hello to Mia.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping the sports world spinning with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Mia O'Brien's here. How you doing?
Hello, how are we?
What's happening? What's going on over
I
there?
have to ask, have you addressed the Aaron Judge conspiracy theory on the program yet?
No, when he was looking into the dugout?
Yeah.
What's the story? What's
yeah,
the theory?
they all think that the Yankees are cheating again.
Yeah.
You know, because...
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's because
Because obviously in that split second that he looked over at the dugout, he found out exactly what pitch was coming and where it was going to be.
Yeah.
Nah, so actually...
So that's why he's hit all the home runs. He's been cheating the whole time.
Yeah, he broke the record because he's been cheating that whole time. No, Will Middlebrooks used to play for the Red Sox, actually posted and now he's a Nesson analyst, actually posted a really good breakdown of it. And essentially, from what he believes it was, the first base coach was relaying to Aaron Judge where the catcher was situated in his stance.
Which you always do. I mean, base coaches are always trying to steal signs and locations.
And that's what Middlebrooks was like, if you don't like it, you should probably get better at the game.
Who's the sideline reporter for CBS? Jenny Dell?
Yeah, that's that husband.
Married to Will Middlebrooks.
Wow.
That's why she.
Hayes,
When you wait.
I'm here to drop stuff
especially,
on you.
I was just say, especially since you guys are talking about McAfee, if you want to really get in the sports media weeds here, starts dating Will Middlebrooks, so gets dismissed by Nesson.
That's correct.
But now somehow, some way, is the lead CBS college football sideline reporter.
And is very good.
And is very good. And she was great when she used to do on the Big Ten Network Big Eats, and they would do like their tour or whatever it was called.
That's what I'm giving
all
you.
the
Hey,
area
you
restaurants.
get information
I
right
just
here.
look,
You
when
would have
you
spent the
two
rest of
get
your
together,
life,
I just stand back and soak it
You
up.
would have spent the rest of your life not knowing that Will Middlebrooks was married to Jenny Dell, and now you got that.
I now.
You're well. Mia, I
lead
speak
an
for Mia
enriched
and me.
life.
You're welcome. Okay, so
That's what I'm here for.
That's exactly right. Again, and I say this with respect, but and you can tell me if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to tell me. But was Matt Hayes drinking on the show today? Okay, because if he was, I understand. I understand if he was.
The funny part is 2/4 of our show, and Leon to an extent as well, because he does it in the morning. Like Joe and I are trying to like intermittent fast and like not be eating. Like we drink a lot of water, and so is Matt. It looks like we're kind of like influencing him to at least drink more water, because I see him go fill up his Tervis from time to time during the show.
Or vodka, Caroline.
So I will say this to defend Matt Hayes. I was behind him in line in the water line today.
Okay,
so there was water
All
in
right.
that Tervis. I can debunk that.
He's thought of everything.
No problem. I can debunk that one.
What's coming up tonight? What are we doing?
Oh, just going to run through the whole gamut of schedule thoughts. Obviously, we've all been going through our schedule since our own personal schedule since the NFL and Jaguar schedule was released Thursday night. So we're going to take kind of a different twist of sorts on it. So we're going to look at the Jaguar schedule, but look at it from the perspective of what are some matchups for Calvin Ridley? What corners will he be facing each of those weeks? Trevor Lawrence, who are some of the elite defenses that he will be going up against? Maybe pass rushers for Walker Little to square up against Anton Harrison. That could be a challenge to them. So we're going to kind of go through it that way. Our music theme tonight, and again, I know we've given him his flowers on 1010 a lot, but I have to continue to. Our boy, JJ LaSelva, who ran his first 5K over the weekend. So we will celebrate that with songs with 5 in the lyrics. And as I'm reading that off of our rundown, I'm realizing I didn't send mine yet. So we'll be sure to do that. Also,
5-1 by the doors.
There you go. How about that?
There it is. There, JJ, if you're listening on your drive-in, there you go. That's what we're going to roll with.
You know what? How about that? Isn't that great?
Yeah,
there you go.
Absolutely. And then I may talk about the Aaron Judge sign stealing. Because,
I think you should.
Yeah. Still not happy about that.
See you, Mia.
Thanks, guys.
How about Ooh Child by the 5 Stair Steps?
There you go.
Okay, that's free. That's free. Okay.
Boy,
I may call it in.
What a segment.
Let's take a break. Let's say goodbye.
Or let's just get out of here.
Let's just get out of here. Mia, Taylor, Lauren, they have helmets and heels, and it comes up right now. We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow from Bartram location of Island Wing Company. Looking forward to that. For Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
Mark Long of the Associated Press in Gainesville, Jacksonville, with local, national, and worldwide reach